Well, Saturday night footy it is from the Adelaide Oval. The Crows and the Saints as we get ready to go. Just clearing out the lungs is Mark Prosciutto and ready to get stuck into it tonight.
Wrong button, Drew.
Wrong button. Good start.
Off to a flyer. We are at Adelaide Oval and in for the toss of the coin. Sean Dawson in there, of course, Riley O'Brien. And we'll do the exchange in just a moment with the toss of the coin. But I guess it's the Crows and the Saints, both of these sides, are both teams that would have liked to be a bit further progressed than they are right now.
Spot on, absolutely. 14th and 15th on the ladder, hoping for better this year. And they've played some good footy, both sides. You only have to look at last week with St Kilda beating Sydney and Adelaide pushing Brisbane in Brisbane. So I think this will be a pretty good contest tonight.
We're hoping that it will be. Jack Riewoldt, a bit of a surprise from the Crows with Riley Thorp coming back in after that injury in the pre-season. A big key forward, but he's starting as the sub.
I just can't believe it. Perhaps, look, key forward, come on, I something similar 2019, had 13 weeks off. We haven't seen Riley Thorp this year, but starting a sub, 2 games back, he's been at the SANFL level. Surely we want to see him in the starting lineup. I just think you're delaying the inevitable here. Get him into the game early, get him a touch early, get him some confidence early, but now he's got to sit on the bench with that sub-vest on.
Yeah, it's interesting because would you play 4 tools in slippery, wet conditions as well? You can't drop Fogarty, you wouldn't want to drop Walker after last week, and Himmelberg was really good on Harris Andrews as well. So it's an interesting move, and time will tell whether the Crows coaching department have got it right or wrong.
Matthew Nick spoke during the week about the potential for the Crows to dominate in the air tonight, given their tall forward line. It will be a really interesting one. Of course, he and Ross Lyon know each other a bit from when Nix was playing at the Swans, and Ross Lyon was an assistant coach there. But the tall forwards could prove to be certainly a big impact on this game as it progresses, if that rain stays away.
Uncontested marks will be the one for the Saints tonight too. 127 last week against Sydney's defence. They just held onto the ball and maintained wet conditions. Can they do that tonight, or will the pressure from the Crows get the ball back and create scoring opportunities for Adelaide?
We are set to go. Round 18 from the Adelaide Oval. St Kilda and Adelaide. Marshall and O'Brien will be a good battle too. Berry was right in the thick of the action as it spills clear. Burns put his head over it. Sinclair did just the same. Good tackle from Scholl. It was about to spill clear, but quick whistle and we'll get a ball up.
Yeah, that ruck battle between O'Brien and Marshall was going to be a huge one tonight.
O'Brien taking a tumble. O'Brien tried to throw his boot at it, as did Dawson. Just patchy showers before the game's put a fair bit of water into the surface and will make it slippery in the early stages. Marshall, such a potent threat forward at times this season as well. The Crows will get the clearance here through Dawson. He's out into the path of Murphy. A tackle from Wanganeen-Milera brought him to ground.
Going to be an important matchup, Murphy and Wanganeen-Milera. He's a very good user from half-back. They'll be putting time into him.
Last time these two sides played, it was a 52-point win to the Crows, as this one's pushed in the Dawson direction, close to the boundary again. Good tackling pressure from St Kilda. Burns able to stop Dawson from sending that one into a dangerous spot.
Sinclair is a star, we know that, for St Kilda. He's just been off on his own at the moment at half-back. I'm going to try and see if someone is pushing up the ground or not, but you wouldn't want to keep him free across half-back. He just starts so many of their plays.
Dangerous player to let roam free as Marshall was able to win it down. Philipo, who was so good last week against the Swans. There's Sinclair. But he pokes the ball wide and out on the full.
Yeah, under no pressure is there as well, Jack. So not a good start by Jack.
That match-up there on Dawson, that's a crucial one for Adelaide. He's a barometer without ranking out Dawson.
Can they find some of those tall forwards? Fogarty to the front. Ball hit the deck. Howard on his hands will take it. And they try to crash back through. Murray, like a steep train, try to go through everybody. Boundary line looms again.
You see with conditions here that it's just going to be a game of forward footy early on. If the weather does start to dry up, you can start to play a little bit more dry weather footy, but it's all about momentum. The ball will spend a lot of time on the ground.
All the territory going the Crows' way to start. First goal always important. O'Brien knocks it straight back to the boundary, and it'll see it over again. We might get a fair bit of this.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, Marshall. He leads their clearances. He leads their inside 50s. He's second in contested ball as well. So doesn't just get the hit outs, he does a lot on the ground.
5 goals across the last 2 weeks as well for the Saints. Certainly get around the ground. They tangle here, the 2 big rucks. Fogarty able to steal it out, was trying to feed it to Keys, who still found it at ground level. Pokes the kick away. Himmelberg had to stretch. It was a good spoil in the end from Bonner. And the Saints can clear it, but there's just nobody up the field at all for St Kilda. Foot race on. Soligo will win that. He turns into a bit of trouble. Now releases the run of Smith, who darts that ball back in towards a hot spot off the hands of Dawson, who was leading up. Howard couldn't take it. Dawson goes back in to find it again. Berry off a step, snapping at goal. And he's bent it too far.
You can already see Jordan Dawson pushing forward. He's the size of a key forward, and Adelaide like to use him predominantly in that forward half of the ground and actually as a target to kick to.
Wanganeen-Milera up the wing, and Murray just slaps that one away from Owens.
Dawson might actually be matched up on Jack Sinclair. I've been trying to work out who's on Sinclair, and he's just letting him go. Sinclair's deciding to let Dawson roll up into that midfield mix, into the clearance, and he's staying out the other side. Now Murphy's gone up to Sinclair.
Bryan to the front. He's pushing it forward into the path of Laird. Murphy had to go in hard, as did Webster with the bump. Berry got it out to Walker. Now Henry. Webster didn't know the player was there. Didn't really make an attempt. Ball went loose. Inside 50 again for the Crows. Some issues. Straight to the line though from Bonner, and not enough intent to keep it in. Didn't disguise it enough. We've got to go up the boundary line a little bit at least.
Is that Lockie Shoal?
Yep. We'll take the shot from the pocket.
A couple of big contest wins there from Tex Walker. He's got the match up on Wilkie tonight.
No, Shoal will step out and working it around the post to perfection.
That's his 10th goal for the season now. Lockie had a real breakout season, averaging 21 disposals, and it just runs up and down that wing. He's a real hard runner at the club, and just a little bit too obvious there from Riley Bonner. You only have to slightly get it wrong these days.
It doesn't get much more obvious than that there, Rook.
No,
he punched it over the line.
That's a
great finish.
Position to be.
Great finish there from Shoal, though.
Yeah, he's going from strength to strength. Lockie's 10th goal for the season.
He played the 16 games last year, but finished the season in the sample. He's really locked down his spot in the team. Having a good year.
Crows have been #1 in the comp for time in forward half, and tonight dominating 5 inside 50s to 0.
Hasn't really been in the forward half at all yet for the Saints. They get an opportunity here though through Steele. It goes long and direct. Jordan Butts with the spike towards the boundary line. He's hoping that it'll make it all the way. He's kept alive well, but then dropped by Membry. Wilson trying to handball it back in over his head.
And it does look like young Hugh Bond has got the job on Higgins, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Big task for him early on. I know he's moved over to Wilson now.
And there was a real tangle. Henry and Berry at that stoppage. And the free kick will go to the Saints. Berry put his hands on his head immediately as the whistle blew. He knew he'd made a mistake, and Liam Henry's going to get a shot at goal. No, in fact, it'll be downfield, albeit half a metre, but it will go to the ruck in Rowan Marshall.
Just dangerous play around stoppage. Liam Henry, you can see here, just got caught high there with a block with Jack Steele.
Thanks, Rowan.
It's important for the Saints, though. Haven't had any inside 50s. This is the first one to have a shot on goal. Adelaide have dominated the forward half territory so far.
Kicked 3 goals against the Port a fortnight ago, 2 against the Swans last week. First time he's ever kicked multiple goals in back-to-back games, Rowan Marshall. He's been a goal kicker. He leaves that one out there, hooking it away to the left.
It was the thing that won them the game last week, their goal kicking, 13 goals 5, with only 41 inside 50s. Make sure they hit the scoreboard early here, the Saints.
Murray will bang the ball long up the wing. Webster with the spike. Got it away from Fogarty, and Bonner is held up. congestion around the footy as you'd expect. Philipo, Bonner. Now long to half forward. Owen's front position. Did well to bring the ball to ground. Murray's there too. Soligo. Michael Annie lofts the ball back up the wing. Philipo underneath it. Who will win the free kick.
Courage from the young man there. Be tough sometimes sitting under those sky balls, knowing that there's potentially a key forward coming behind you.
Breakout game last week. Gone back to play in the VFL just to learn a bit more midfield craft. After admitting that he hadn't really played much midfield at all since his very junior days.
He's already had 3 touches today too.
Zach Jones taken front on.
I like that call from Ross Lyon. I reckon just a high draft pick. Sometimes you think just play him and get games into him, but got to teach them skills, teach them talents, and teach them new roles, obviously, in midfield. For Philipo. It's going to be a very good player, though, going forward.
These are uncontested marks, Jack, you're talking about?
They are. This is the reason why they don't have so many high inside 50s. They don't have a lot of inside 50s. They're trying to draw the Adelaide defence out with this style of movement. So right now the Saints players are just setting up in a big U, using the ball, and then they see an option they like going forward.
Wilkie to the 50. Big spike away from Keane. Henry's kick was smothered. Crows desperate to try and clear it out of there, but not too far. Steele intercepts.
Clearly no Max King at the moment for the Saints and won't be there for the rest of the season. He's the guy they're usually kicking it to.
Steele to the hot spot. Owen's best position. The arms clips. And then a big tackle from behind. They will get the free kick. Sharman to take it after a terrific tackle. They could have got the first one, but they will get the second.
Yeah, their forward half turnovers and pressure was a highlight last week, and it's going to give them a scoring opportunity today.
He's a utility Sharman. He sort of, I think Ross puts him wherever he feels like he needs him at that point in time. He plays down back, plays up forward. He was, obviously, with King being out last week, he was the #1 target for the Saints going forward, but only had 4 targets inside 50.
Been the sub or subbed in 5 games this season. Still trying to find out where his best position is, but he's got an opportunity to step up and claim a spot in the side, and he takes full effect.
You just see the Saints setting up Adelaide there with that switch. You'll see a lot of that tonight. The Saints trying to use the ball, but then getting it to contest, and it's a really good tackle there. Unfortunately, don't have that much time and space these days in AFL footy, and Brady Smith just got caught unawares, and sometimes you can see those tackles get into the back of a player, but a really smart tackle by Sharman and a good finish. The Saints really needed that one.
See the spread, forward 50 targets for the Saints. A little more unpredictable now that Max King's not there.
Yeah, that can be a good thing too.
So, tap down. Jones in and under. One looking to cash in on some game time tonight. Berry working hard. Was buried, but we get a ball up. Ryan Marshall, Harvett to Dawson. Tough to win it in and under.
See Brady Smith there dropping off as the spare behind the ball. Dan Butler at the stoppage here as a forward for St Kilda.
Spills, Michael Annie can put it on the boot and set it up towards Walker. He's got 2 to beat. And Battle getting back, not paid the mark. He thought he spoilt it, then claimed it. Umpire not having it.
Tried to sell the story to the umpire there. This Wilkie-Walker battle is going to be really interesting tonight. Both very good players. Wilkie was fantastic last week as well.
Marshall clearly down to Burns on the boot. Worked out okay. Wilson. Flip it long towards Sharman. Did the bodywork opposed to Keane and recovered quickly. Then to Mason Wood. Tumbling ball inside 50. Bounce will be important. Bonner didn't want to take possession. Got it across to Higgins. Snap to goal, but the Crows work hard in defence. Scholl all the way back towards the last line. Poor kick out, though, of the defensive 50. They'll find the boundary line. Will they or not? No, it stayed in play. The Crows gained a bit more territory. Dawson went for a hang. Just couldn't bring it down in the wet conditions. Clark on the boot. high to the 50. Tough to mark anything too clean tonight. O'Brien to ground. Fogarty, now Saligo can build. Very open forward line for Adelaide. But it bounces, Wilkie, fumbled. Walker arrives cleverly, taps it onto Rochelle. He kept his feet when Webster went to ground. Throws inside 50, but the defensive numbers, dangerous handball. Should make it back. Howard. You can see the players slipping and sliding about the place. Saints try to clear to half back. Membry. He couldn't slap it on after doing the hard work. Jones goes in hard. And finally, we do find the boundary line.
We mentioned the three key forwards that are out there, four with Thorp being the sub tonight. Do you think Nix has pulled the right rein here, playing so tall with clearly conditions suiting smaller players?
Well, you know, by the way you're asking that, it sounds like a no from you, and I don't. Look, and that 9 out of 10 people would say that, Jack, wouldn't they? So time will tell. He must have some plan up his sleeve because it's been projected to be wet all week, Jack. So it's not a surprise that conditions are coming a little bit slippery.
Brian trying to flick it over the back, then just put the slipper into it. Wanganeen-Milera, good hands. Higgins away to Clark. Through the corridor they go. Sharman presenting up. Oh, he almost ran into his teammate, but it's a good step. He lays it into the path of Henry, but overcooked it slightly. Nankervis. He tries to get it out of there. Smith tackled again. No prior that time. And we'll get a ball up.
That kick to Sharman so important for St Kilda. At the moment they're getting so far up the ground and playing this rush-back style offence is that you do need to take a mark and reset and let your own players get ahead of the ball to kick to.
Marshall down. Jones. Trying to get it out of there. Butler. Ball up.
It's going to be a grind, isn't it? Slippery conditions, so plenty of stoppages tonight.
Marshall and O'Brien will be sick of the sight of each other by the end of it, you'd think. We'll tap down to Berry. Clearing kick. Sure to make it. Was held.
Jack, how early do sides call a different game plan with wet conditions in 2024? Do they leave it to the players? Does the coach call it?
Yeah, it's usually player-driven, but I think only the players will be able to sum the conditions. It's wet conditions for some players, and then you see Wanganeen-Milera step inside like that. It's dry for some others.
Long ball in. Nankervis across. Big fist away. Got on by the defender.
But it's about fundamentals. So at the moment, Saints 23-17 contested possession. Clearly there's an emphasis on that tonight. Time in forward half, there's another emphasis on that tonight as well, to make sure that in these wet conditions you just want to play the weight of numbers.
Well, what
get
about
the ball forward, be smart with it as well.
They've been taking the uncontested marks. You spoke about that before the game. Short kicks in the wet, surely that's not a thing you'd...
Risk and reward. Risk and reward.
All taken away by the Crows. The handball towards Berry. He's knocked away. Taylor almost got it out of there.
So if it's clearly on, still go for it. If it's a bit tighter, not do it.
Yeah, and I think that's the decision you make with every possession in a game that is wet, where the footy, but that comes down to Adelaide actually probably pushing up a little bit closer to make sure those kicks aren't 100% aren't on in the wet.
Mark immediately tackled by Berry.
At the moment, they're just standing off a little bit and they've sort of laid down Mazairs, whether it's wet or dry. So forcing the Saints into that long down the line game to bring it back into the contest.
Forward territory for the Saints. The last part of this match. Philipo with a clean pick-up, hooking back to a dangerous spot. Mason Wood to the front, brought it to ground, and on the volley! He's got it on the follow, creates a clever goal.
Just a bit too smart there, kept his feet and got a goal. Just had no Crows player in front, in between him and the goal square. Let's have a look at it. Kick in. As Nankervis just gave his spot away, and that's what allowed Wood to have a free kick off the ground at the goal. You can see Nankervis here needed to kill that spoil, and then it allowed him to have a shot on the goal. That's his 9th goal for the year, Mason Wood.
It's an interesting one, Mason Wood, obviously playing a lot of wing at the start of the season, but I think out of necessity playing forward now. But you're right there, Ruse, that those critical contests in the air close to the goal line, you need to either put that out of bounds or that's got to go through for a rush behind.
So handy goal to the Saints, early stages. Dawson Planning handball away. Bond getting involved on his debut. High ball, crunching in battle. Knock it back down to the front. Henry, he had to get creative. Wanganeen-Milera shoveled it across to Jones. Saints just doing well in the contest right now. Awkward moment for the debutant who overran the footy. Higgins. Philipo. He flicked it back in. Clark. They had the extra number there for a while, the Saints, but eventually the Crows can try to send it back up the wing, but again out of bounds on the full. It's a tough night to be flirting with the boundary line. This line with plenty of explanations as to what's happening.
Just talking about taking the ball clean at your ground level. These are the sort of conditions where the really good players stand out. They're clean at ground level. They're smart with their ball use. They play the fundamentals better than anyone else.
Battle just blasted long. Huge pack up. Murray a good spoil. Milberg at the 4.
So Adelaide had all the inside 50s at the start, and now it's been a lot for St Kilda. They've turned the game right around.
Milberg doing some ruck work. Clark to get the kick away, but eventually a handball. Jones, tumbling ball, a hold or over the shoulder. It's going to be a free kick to the Crows.
Well, I thought it was against Dawson for a late hit on him when he got rid of the ball, so could have gone either way.
Butts with the free kick. Dawson up the wing, pushed into by Howard. Jones just looked a little busy getting back out there on his return to the side. Wilson overran it. Keys, good bump in there from Owens. Himmelberg. Walker was waiting to accept. He tried the step, then went a huge fend. Tex Walker just barreling through opponents, and now it's Murphy with the hands. Was slick to Taylor. Goal square. The Crows making hard work of it. Saints desperate in defence. Keys lost it. Scholl, he's there. He's dispossessed as well. And how about the strength from Tex Walker a few moments ago?
The Undertaker was a choke slam. Summer slam. It's only the second mark that the Crows have taken, though, there from Tex Walker. I would have liked him to... You just got to settle down sometimes. I think forwards can get a bit hot-headed and think, I've got to get it forward. Just allow your teammates to set up.
The free kick.
It's called the block.
He's good at the boundary throw-ins. Tex in the forward 50. Tried to draw the free kick there and ended up giving it away.
Why wouldn't you against the undersized ruck as well?
Well, 50-50 cold sometimes with those.
All the ruck ones are, Roo. All the ruck ones are 50-50.
Good point.
Up the line. Himmelberg from the side.
You're good at mass, Jack.
Philipo has found a bit of it. Really continuing his good form from last week.
Not just a pretty face, Roo. You can see Philipo gets to the right contest there, so that's it's probably going to harp on about the fundamentals in these wet conditions, but it's actually just getting to the coal face where the ball's going to likely drop, and that is at the front most of the time. So being smart about where you position yourself and then bringing it to the front as well.
Marshall down to the front. Clark knocked it on. Soligo slides out of play.
It's one of those games as a player where you sort of just... You accept that it's going to be a grind, and this is going to be a grind tonight. It's who can remain steadfast to the grind and to their structures the longest.
Well, they're already +8 in contested footy, St Kilda, so they'd be wrapped with that.
Really locked up. Marshall. Steele was taken high. Overlap run from behind. Shoemaker's a long kick. He goes in. Landing hard was Keane. Ball ricocheting around. Keane back to his feet. It works out okay to Dawson. He's on the boot. Oh, couldn't take it. Now Fogarty is wrapped up. And holding the ball. Not enough intent to try to get it out.
I thought he was kicking back on a cocktail next to the poolside there, just sitting back with the ball sitting next to him.
On the cabana, just relaxing. Howard into the pocket. Big amount of space it opened up, and Sharman at the second bite. Well worked out by the Saints to create so much space there for Sharman to lead into.
Enjoy that marking technique there from Sharman as well. Sort of took the velocity off the ball and tapped it to himself to then take the chest mark. That's a great grab in wet conditions.
Most of the players were just all in the hot spot. Sharman to take it in the pocket. Difficult kick from here. Forward line, it's had to adapt. A shocking kick goes into the opposite pocket, and it's claimed to mark. Well, it'll go down as an effective pass as Rowan Marshall has taken the grab inside 50.
Benefit of the doubt, Paps. Come on. It was odd spot kick. Didn't go there the first time, but he thought I'd kick it there the second time. Got to remain diligent, though. It's a good mark there from Rowan Marshall. This is the area of his game that he's improved. He's been able to get forward. He's been playing forward as well, but get forward as a ruck and hitting the scoreboard.
Crows with the first. The Saints have hit back. That's a bad miss. That's 2 in this quarter for Rowan Marshall. Very gettable goals. Crows have struggled to clear it off their half-back line. In the second part of this opening term, Berry. Crows fans wanted a free kick for holding the ball. Saints fans wanted a free kick for in the back. We'll get a ball up.
St.Kilda have been second in the competition, second best side at contested possession since round 12. They are plus 13 in wet nights. That's going to be a big difference. That'll be the #1 thing Matthew Nix talks about at quarter time, and Ross will be saying keep it going.
You don't want to get beat at contested possession and tackles as well.
Wow, look at that. Both sides, the pressure's on. At 250, that's off the gauge.
It's a massive number for the Saints. Cook goes in hard. Nice one back by Sinclair. He's spun and slung in the tackle. Spotted by the up, and it'll be a free kick.
Really careful with those types of tackles there. Bit of missed time and you're in big trouble.
To check the replay to see if head hit the turf at all, but not really. He got the arm out, which was good to protect as Burns. Now Butler on the pocket. Gains a few metres.
Enjoying the way that Cooper Sharman's presenting at the ball at the moment. He looks like the most likely target on the ground. He's just getting himself out and demanding the football.
All living in the forward half for the Saints the last 10 minutes. We start to approach quarter time. Ramped up the pressure on the Crows. This one knocked down. The Saints running towards goal everywhere. The Crows hold firm.
See the Saints setting up behind the stoppage here, blocking for each other. We've already seen a free kick from it just to get on the flight.
Marshall down. Butler. Berry's in there.
He's got to remain diligent here as a defender. Cannot give an inch up.
Bryan towards the boundary. Berry will be happy to take it over.
Rowan, keep the meter.
Chilly night at the Adelaide Oval. Bit of rain before the games really made it slippery. Jones went to the turf as they all try and block at this stoppage. It spills away. Higgins received the handball but lost it. Keane coughed it up. Bonner on the boot. Out of bounds on the full.
Saints being really proactive at stoppage. A lot of damaging forwards there trying to create. Henry was on the fly. Higgins was there. Philipo as well.
Corey Enright just looking at a few numbers there with the cross line.
The line. Big leap. Wanganeen-Milera.
Just see that there from Michele as well. Just tries to handball it backwards. I think tonight, though, the conditions that you just want to kick it forward. Backwards handballs just invite pressure. Fumbles happen a lot more in the wet. You just want to get it forward, get it to the next stoppage, play the stoppage game up the wing, get it to your forward territory.
Marshall down. Murphy hit it with pace. Got to gain some territory up the wing. Dawson battling with Webster. Philipo to Bonner. Now some run from the Saints. Off balance. Sinclair's kick was okay. Found Wood. Released the handball to Steele from 50. A great kick to the advantage of Sharman, who's looked most likely in this first quarter. He called it Jack. It was Steele who was able to really just put it to the advantage of his forward.
Yeah, that's just that sort of offside runner, Sharman coming in, but he couldn't identify the space to the left of him here. But Jack Steele, who had the ball, was the one that chose where he was going to lead to, actually kicked it into that space there and got it out the back as well. And Keane couldn't get back around and gave away the free kick.
Looks dangerous, Sharman.
His 43rd game. And used all over the ground. The Saints have had some opportunities and they get some reward close to quarter time.
Up to plus 15 in that contested possession now, so that's a very big number in a quarter of football. This was where they just got a little bit of space before that. A lucky kick there, but you play in front in the wet, and that's what happens. Mason Wood, and as Jack Revelt said, Jack Steele putting it out in front and drawing the free kick, giving the defender not much chance at all to be able to spoil the ball away.
Ruby, what are you seeing from Matthias Philipo down there? He started the game nice.
Well, we spoke about him pre-game and whether he could back it up. He's been impressive so far. He's leading possession getter on the field, 8 disposals. And as you spoke about, Jack, he's getting to the right spots around the stoppages and getting them ascendancy.
Thanks, Ruby. The Crows will want to hit back. There's a poor handball from Rochelle. Now Smith just shoveled it out. Rochelle will get another opportunity at it. Hook with a step. Now up to O'Brien. Throw it on the boot up to half forward. Fogarty's there. Ball knocked down. Taylor with a good handball over the top. Rochelle on the boot. But he scrambled sideways rather than forward. Membry to Jones. Saints can't clear.
Back on Philipo. He's had 7 contested possessions and 3 clearances as well.
That's the impressive part of it, isn't it, Roo? It's a good chance here for Adelaide to push the ball forward.
Smith's just going to drive it long. Fogarty the target. Marshall down there. Murphy from nowhere. Able to find some room and snap a great goal.
Well, Jack, you don't have to mark the ball to be an impact player as a big forward. You see Darcy Fogarty out of position. Just watch him come in from the side, stop Marshall from taking the mark. That's what allows Lockie Murphy to get the crumb and kick the goal. Have a look here, out of position to take the mark. Just compete, just spoil it, just bring it to ground and allow the forwards to do the work. So very underrated skill. The coaches will be all over that. Very good work there by Darcy Fogarty.
Underrated sometimes, that route, just the ability to bring the ball to ground, and this is the night for it. And I think it's probably a mindset more than anything else for Darcy Fogarty. We've seen him dominate parts of games, but tonight's not the night that he's going to dominate. He's playing on a very good defender there in Carl Wilkie as well, but that's what he needs to do in these wet conditions, just keep bringing it to the front, bring in those smaller type players.
We just can't allow those intercept marks, and Marshall would have taken that one. Would have been a very different story if he took the mark and pinged it out of there. As it was, he brought it to the ground, brought it to the ground, and Lockie Murphy gets the goal.
They're showing up in the right spot at the right time too for Lockie Murphy.
Yeah, first goal in 4 games for Murphy. See how quickly he got it to his boot. Saints dominated the territory in this term. They cough one up late. Wood spikes it away. Wilson, that's a great take in the wet. Away to Steele, darts the kick inside 50. The scramble is on. Who's the quickest to recover? And it's taken by Bond, who kept his head, who's just inside that 9-metre radius to be able to rush it through.
Yeah, under a minute to go now.
Black Jones is the other one. He's come in, he's had 7 possessions. With 5 of those contested as well. One of the ins for the Saints this week.
Smith, long, Dawson.
He's second to Darcy Fogarty for contested marks this year.
2 long kicks. They're up towards the 50. Wilkie, a good spike away. Battle. Now Clark took his time, just got the kick away. The tackle affected it, and it's intercepted. Butts looking for an option down the line. Milberg to compete. O'Brien stayed down. Battle. Marshall, tumbling ball. Knocked on by Butler, spills away to Smith. Smith another opportunity to just back to half forward. Over the head of Fogarty, Wanganeen-Milera. Clean pick up. Now Webster, as the seconds expire to end the first term. Wet, slippery conditions. The Good contest, though, at the Adelaide Oval. Goals tough to come by. It's going to be a hard night's work, but it is nice and tight. An 8-point lead to the Saints at the first break. Welcome back to the Adelaide Oval, where it is an 8-point lead to the Saints at quarter time. Tight, tough matchup, slippery conditions. Jack Rewalt, Mark Prosciutto, but the Saints have had the better of it so far.
Sure have. They've been tougher and cleaner in tight, which is what this game's going to be all about tonight. There's going to be a lot of stoppages. You're going to kick it off the ground, slap it forward. Don't try and be too cute in these conditions. Yeah,
there's clearances at the moment for the Saints is an area that they're dominating Adelaide in, so plenty for Matthew Nicks to rectify at this quarter-time break. They dominated that first 5 minutes, Adelaide, but then from there on it was the Saints.
Let's get down to Ruby on the boundary.
Well, speaking of those conditions, it is wet, it is cold here at Adelaide Oval, but St Kilda are playing them best, and it is such an important game to play surge footy, and the time in forward half is really valuable. So St Kilda are actually managing that section of the game better than Adelaide Crows right now. And we see here Philipo just getting clearance, getting a quick clearance, messy football. It doesn't have to be pretty, but just get ascendancy into the forward 50. And we see Mason Wood bring it to ground and sort of make something out of nothing. That's the sort of game it's going to be. But in turn, they've also been able to control the game as well. They've 18 marks to 6 St Kilda's way. So when the game's a little too hot, they're able to take the sting out of it. But at the moment, they are making the most of that surge footy.
Thanks, Ruby. We'll see a bit more of that surge footy, you'd think, in this second quarter. But the pressure off the charts, the tackles in particular, Ruby, for the Saints, their biggest number for the season in a quarter.
Well, they're not only winning it, but they're tackling better as well. So 28 and a quarter. I mean, that shows the style of footy is. And have a look at the pressure gauge as well. Both sides well above the average for an AFL side.
Worrying signs, I reckon, for the Crows in terms of the marks. They've only taken 6 marks in that quarter now. I know it's wet conditions out there. The Saints have had 18, so they just need to get their hands on the footy at the moment. Adelaide, they're being beaten around the contest in the contested game and the uncontested game as well. So quarter time came at a good time for them. The thing in their favour is they're 8 points down.
Yep.
Wet games are usually close, and Adelaide only need a couple of good quick kicks and then back front.
Just an 8-point margin at the first change. Marshall with a hit out. Have you seen the battle between Marshall and O'Brien so far?
Well, by the look of the clearances, Riley will get his fair share of the ball. It's just whether the mids can get on the end of it.
Marshall had a couple of opportunities to convert goals, which he missed in the first quarter. Henry's kick towards Wood. Ball hits the deck. Any numbers around it. Philipo had it, lost it, holding the ball. He thought it was dislodged in the tackle.
That's still holding the ball, perhaps.
Yep. Had the opportunity, the prior, to get it out of there. Ball sent long. Punched down by Battle. Walker controlled it well. Scholl hooks it in. Himmelberg. Oh, dropped the mark. He had it, but he still recovered it. He did it the hard way, but he did it his way.
And you were talking about this before, Jack. The good players just take that little bit longer. They know it's a slippery night, and marks like that, they just make sure they just keep an eye on it just a little bit longer so it doesn't slip through the hands. But Elliott, they're good enough to rectify the mistake.
Love that from Murphy, though. He's in the right spot again. He's already had a look at goal and kicked one himself, but he's just in the right spot again. Tex brings the ball to ground. It was Fogarty last time. He's got to make the most of your opportunities. We spoke about that 8-point margin.
Lockie Murphy playing a good role. He's had a couple of good crumbs. He's kicked the goal and half set that one up as well.
Come off the back of a tackle as well, which they've been beaten in that first quarter from the skipper as well.
So goal to Himmelberg, and in a low-scoring contest, that first one for the Crows really brings it right back.
Going back that way.
Marshall down. Philipo was there.
Play on.
To feet. Steele. Wrenched in the tackle by Berry, but it'll be a ball up.
Roo, have you seen Michael Annie going into the middle? Sort of out of necessity against Collingwood. They thrust him forward.
Yeah, he's been playing back most of the time. He's probably only been in there twice. So usually when there's a big shutdown role, he's back there doing that job. And Hugh Bond's coming in maybe to release him of that a little bit.
Steele's kick inside 50. Membry trying to trap it. Tried to step past Cook, then back onto the right boot. Well done by Cook to smother. Stayed in the play. And a high tackle come back to Dawson after he got rid of the handball.
I think he can definitely be a good mid, Jack. I like the ones that come from the back line, the defensively minded first. He's got the speed, he's got the agility. So he can be one of those accountable mids. Maybe to balance up for someone like an Isaac Rankin, who would be exactly the opposite.
All up the wing.
Shout out to Isaac, who's watching at home.
Well, when you got that talent, why would you worry about defending too much? He had a couple of those pretty good in your side. Attacking mids.
It's a good intercept by Howard, but the kick, a poor one. Did it pitch on the line? No, just over. Out of bounds on the full.
He didn't mind tackling too much, did he?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's a good chance here for Adelaide to set their game up.
And Curvis down the line. Fogarty presented. They will hit the ground hard. Cook away, Laird. Fogarty a little slow to get back to his feet. Bouncing ball to half forward. Walker trying to keep it alive. Wilkie, good hands. Battle. Try to go the barrel. High ball, Crows underneath it. Membry and Curvis. Changed his mind a couple of times. Michael Annie under the pump, holding the ball. Didn't give it first time. And Henry wins the free kick. He'll share it away to Bonner. With a long left foot. Owens is there. Spills out the back off hands. Very nearly for the Saints.
Better by Keane there. He's got it caught in a similar position to the one that Sharman took in the first quarter there, but was able to still make the contest and not give away the free kick.
Fogarty coming off the ground after that aerial contest, just looking a little sore.
Thanks, Ruby. We'll keep an eye on Darcy Fogarty as they go out to half-back. Webster able to crunch in with the spoil. Saints with the extra number. Burns. Clark. Berry's got him. It's what he does so well. Sam Berry's spoken about it in recent weeks through about just getting back to his best, and his best is being a tackling machine.
Well, he was the #1 tackler in the comp, I think, in 2022, so should be good tonight for that.
Perfect conditions for that type of player. Sinclair knocked it down. Close to get it. Taylor away. Rochelli. Don't see too much of him yet in this one. Darts back onto the right boot. Trying to find Keys. Battling with Wanganeen-Milera, but the Saints numbers win out. Blasting the ball back. Philipo towards the boundary line along with Dawson. Scholl. Now Laird. Towards the 50. Murphy went underneath it, and Webster.
The Falcon here.
Oh, that nose might be still sore from last week.
Self-inflicted, that one. Maybe get a poke in the eye perhaps as well. From Murphy reaching back.
It'll be a famous snoz, that one, if he has a big night on Brownlow night, Isaac. Heaney, we're talking. So these are these marks we spoke about. They're quite patient. Not much risk with these kicks so far, as Jack said.
Hard run from Sharman. About 100 metres up the wing to receive the footy.
And that's the one that Dawson's sort of only 5 metres off him, and it turns into 15. You've got to shut those down.
Or a half forward. Russell's the target. Berry on the boot. Sharman has to spoil. Burns. Battle. Just affected by a tackle. Owens there. Out the back. Well done by Bond. You can hear the cheers from the family in the crowd. He's got a stack of them. His Battle. Ray Burns. Crows fans wanted a free, and Steele's got the footy. Steele with a high ball inside 50. Sharman's put in a power of work. The placement of the kick towards Henry. Good spoil by Michael Annie. They have to go back in again. Saints looking to pounce. Crows trying to rush it through.
Fogarty's right ankle just getting some attention, so it looks like they're going to strap it up and try getting back out there.
It's updated Ruby as to whether we'll see Darcy Fogarty again. Looks like should be okay to return, but just landed awkwardly in that big contest a few moments ago. Wanganeen-Milera with a very early leap.
Ambitious.
In the wet too.
Didn't get anywhere near it. As this ball's knocked out of play.
game's sort of in a little bit of a lull at the moment where both sides are sort of playing fairly safe football, hoping that the corridor might open up a little bit later in this quarter, sort of just feeling each other out, not wanting to give away too much defensively.
Bryant down.
St.Kilda.
Free kick paid by the umpire all the way at half forward for the Saints. 40 metres away, spotted some holding going on. Jones drives for distance, knocked away by Keane, and Curvis to try to mop it up. Berry through the traffic, gets it back. Turn up the boundary line. Dowling's kick just falling in a bit short. Good tackle. And Philipo, it's going to be held up.
So yeah, that just referring the pressure with those backwards handballs sort of puts them back into the corner, and then all of a sudden you're further back, kicking the ball to no one.
And Brian got creative. The hit out down to his shoelaces. Keane. Ball trying to drive forward, but Sinclair back the other way was clever. Philipo from long range, hooking ball, but well wide. In fact, out of bounds.
Riley.
He's testing out that ankle. They do have a key forward as the sub. Thorp waiting for his opportunity to make a return. We'll tap down to the front. Laird will clear a kick away. Sinclair, good use of the body. Just able to bump Rochelle out of the way. A lot of numbers inside 50 for the Saints.
Have dragged him out, though. There's only a couple in the square.
Going to hook it to the open pocket. High ball. Some good protection, but no mark able to be taken by Philipo. And then a high kick up and under. Really carry the 15. O'Brien goes after it. Henry. Steele in there. Away to Burns. Places the kick, and Mason Wood. There was good vision in the end by Burns. Yep. Wood was just waiting and willing to accept.
So Mason Wood was involved in that aerial contest and then realised that he could make no impact on the ball defensively, so just rolled forward, took the risk. The risk has paid off with a mark inside 50 on his right foot, though.
Gonna step out and open up the angle. And with the skills off the right, no problem at all for Mason Wood, who's got a couple.
Just good as a forward. Wood's been obviously a really important player in the wing here, but you can see just as soon as he knows he can't make the impact there, just roll forward, take the risk, and his defender wasn't able to track him. I really like that, just that ability not to blaze away there as well and find that short mark. Make the most of that opportunity there. It was Burns just on the left, saw Wood, could have potentially kicked it to the top of the goal square, and then a lovely finish on the right. Don't see many left footers have a right foot like that, and Mason Wood just rolled around and said thank you very much. He's been dangerous. 192 centimetres, so he's got good size about him.
Was that toe poke off the right boot as well earlier on? Might have to check, he might have two. There's in the middle. Handy goal to the Saints. Owens in there. His jumper's just about changed colour. Sharman. And to meet it. Keane. He's gaining some territory. Tough one for anybody to take. Walker knocked it down. Let's try to protect it for Murphy. Had to go and find it himself. Scholl on the boot. Rochelle in front. Crowd have not really been into the game yet. They're keen to lift into it, but speaking of lifting up into it, Wanganeen-Milera sees it out of play.
Yeah, pretty quiet, the crowd. St Kilda have been the better side so far. Free kicks of 5-12 against Adelaide. The crowd will let us know about that very shortly as well.
I reckon they'll just accept it, Roo.
Yeah,
they're a good bunch over there, aren't they?
Saturday night on the hill.
Holds that down, O'Brien. Rochelle scrambling across to the goal square. Cook kept it in play. Wilkie, battle. Bonner, clean bowl. Walker throwing his weight around. Berry taken high. Crowd enjoyed that one. He wants to go quickly into the hot spot. Darts the kick in. Fogarty presents. Terrific kick in from Berry. Didn't give it too much loft. Didn't give the Saints defenders a chance, and Fogarty back on the field can take the set shot.
Yeah, just flatten the hands, try and make sure it doesn't get behind you. Had plenty of heat on it, the kick. Tough mark in these conditions, but just flatten the hands. He's got the second bite of the cherry.
Josh.
On the bench getting some treatment for an injury only minutes ago, but he's back out there. He has that one very tight, but he has just snuck it in.
That's such a good kick there from Barry. Wilkie was standing in that lead lane, trying to guard any sort of lead up. See here, this is the deliberate rush rule coming into play here. No player wanted to take it out there. Riley Bonner didn't even want to pick it up. But had this tiny little pull just to kick it in and drew Fogarty in there. I think he tried his best to miss it. See Ross there, though, set up. And there goes the phone. Have to get the Adelaide Oval staff up there to fix that blower that Ross Lyons just put a hole in. Here we go.
Ross is handiwork. You can see the funny side of it.
Well, one thing Matty Nicks would be happy with it. They've turned the contested ball around Adelaide. They're +2 in this second quarter and +5 in the ground ball get. So getting a bit tougher and a bit dirtier in the second quarter.
Still have the lead. The Saints, a message a little tougher to get through if the handset's broken. As the Crows, Dawson up, Saligo, good take, releases Laird. Long in, Walker with a push and the shove. Wilkie recovered nicely. Owens will get there first. Tries to go through Himmelberg, not buying any of it. Holding the ball.
Yeah, great tackle there. Thought Tex had Wilkie absolutely done, but the class of Wilkie got back into it, but the Crows are straight back on. This is a great sign for Matthew Nix's team here.
Just a little lift from the Crows last couple of minutes. Into the pocket. Rochelle hands to it. Keys tackled. Ball up.
I think the impressive thing there is there was one tackle and then the second player in was a Crows player.
Walker to ruck against Owens. He flicked it over the back, but nobody there for the Crows. Murray. They can send it back in. Goes by hand to Dawson. He places a kick to the pocket. Battle almost one-handed. And under the pump, now it's the Crows' turn to press and pressure.
Good pressure by Rochelle there. Pretty gettable kick, this one, if he puts a bit of flight on it. These ones kicking around the corner from this far out, you can tend to, if you don't get the right part of the foot, he won't get the distance, so he needs to get it with a bit of height.
He's channeling his Eddie Betts.
So there you go. Lets it go. Post. He did it a long way up too.
Nearly the perfect kick.
Eddie would have kicked it off the left, right?
Well, he's done a left foot taunt from there. Got goal of the year in Indigenous round.
Right, the wing. Laird waiting down. Cross just getting a bit of a run of possession. Taylor, short, wide, Fogarty, who's a long kick. He's pointing at the goals immediately.
He's certainly got a long kick.
That's going to take a big one.
And in these conditions, it's a little bit harder.
Crows set up well behind the ball there. You can just see they're starting to get their system right behind the football, which is allowing them re-entries, gives them more opportunities forward of the footy. It's going to take a big kick.
7-2 across his last 3 games. He would have to thump it from here. Good purchase. Really good contact, but it's always out to the right. Margin 2 points. Adelaide have had it locked in their forward half. Wood sending the ball up the wing. Philipo in front. Back. Butler coughed it up. Dowling. And Curvis. Quick hands. Strong tackle on Smith from Butler. Jones put his head over it. Saligo got the arms clear. Trying to release Laird. It was a good handball to gain some more territory. Bouncing footy, a tough one to take. Wilkie turns across goals. Dangerous kick. Trying to find Wilson. Scholl knocked it down. Crows have the numbers. Fogarty shrugged off Schoenmaker. They just couldn't get the handball to Dawson, who coughs up the free kick. He didn't want Wanganeen-Milera
there was
to run away.
a professional foul there from Jordan Dawson, but the Crows are starting to access the corridor more there. You can see that handball from Soligo, just a little bit more braver, bring it back through the middle, increase your scoring opportunities. The rain still teeming down. Got a little bit harder down there, has it, Ruby?
Yeah, and I'm scared to put an umbrella up in case I get into a punch-on with the Crows fans, so I'm avoiding an umbrella. You know what they're like, Rube.
The sooner you do it, the better it is. Just get it done.
Just keep
Scary
passing
down
those
here.
tactics down, Root.
Yeah, Mark Rasciuto speaking from experience, enjoying the comforts of the commentary box this evening. We're doing a great job on the boundary as ball is forward by Marshall. Bounce important. Was let behind initially by Murray. Did well to recover. Now trying to find it at the feet was Keane. Diving on top. It'll be a baller.
Geez, that was important there by Murray. Liam Henry was absolutely humming and had a clear lane into goal. We just held onto it.
Philipo only had the one touch in his second quarter.
Clark, scrambling ball. Scooped up by Murray. Pinched by Smith. Kick for touch. Up the boundary, and insufficient intent.
That's a tough.
There is
Kick that 45 metres.
There's no other option except walking it out over the boundary in the pocket.
Oh.
Tough call on a wet night as Wilson sends it in. Sharman in the pack. Burns out the back. Hooking ball and rush through.
That's a tough goal. One step kick 45 metres up the boundary line.
See the rain.
More of it on the way. Love a radar shot. That's a ripper, that one.
More of it on the way in the second half, perhaps. Murray's long kick. 3 Saints up. Himmelberg waiting down. Blair, Scholl. A retreat to go forward. Dawson went for the risky kick through the middle, found Taylor.
Haven't been too many of those kicks tonight. That's usually what all sides like to do, but hardly any so far.
Gets a block on the mark. Bit of extra distance, but Wilkie almost. Howard. He sends it out of there. Scholl lost it. Clark, the clean pick-up. Wanganeen-Milera. Now the Saints can run in a wave at half-back. Marshall back to Clark. They could be out. Long ball towards the 50. Higgins there. Kept his feet. Henry on the follow, but just overran it. And what a take. One hand in the wet in your first game. Bond able to clear. Soligo with the spin.
That was well done in the conditions too.
Now through the middle. Big spike away by Sharman. And just going up a notch. Henry.
Kick.
Just chips it up. And Philipo drifting in, can take the set shot. There was half chances everywhere, and eventually it's St.Kilda who will get the opportunity.
Yeah, just said before that Mateus has been a bit quiet in the second quarter. Just had the one disposal after a great start to the game.
Career highs in disposals, clearances, inside 50s last week. Mateus Philipo on his return to the side had 10 score involvements as well. To the post.
Poster at each end this quarter. Jake Soligo doing one at the other end.
Missed opportunity for the Saints. Long ball in. O'Brien clunks it. Want to get some run going, the Crows. Dowling's kick, a high ball. Keys to the front, was held by Webster. One end to the other, players rushing back.
Pretty carefully, Rowan Marshall free behind the ball.
Keys into the pocket. Dawson's down there as you picked Jack. Rowan Marshall coming across to help. Thumps it out of play.
Makes that ruck battle so interesting, is that where do you push when you're pushing forward? Clearly, defending rucks will always set themselves up for that long ball down the line. Can you get a bit creative and pop into a little three-quarter hole?
Line down. Marshall trying to scramble it. Dowling flicked over the head. It's now Dawson and Curvis. A fumble in the slippery conditions, and it's out. 4 minutes just over till half-time.
The players are condensed around the ball at the moment.
Marshall knocked it down. Dowling on the boot. Touched off the boot. Fogarty crashed it. Webster held up. Howard couldn't handle it. Wilson coughed it up. Handball to the goal square. And he just gifted a goal away to Keys.
Well, he's a super hard-working Benny Keys. Just works so hard, puts himself in a position to get these types of goals. That's his 22nd goal for the year. He's having a cracker in that half-forward line this season. We'll have a look at the replay very shortly, but let's have a look. Just works hard, gets it that position, not dissimilar to what Wood did earlier. Just got his body on the right side of the contest. Just worked hard to get his body. Look at him work, pushes hard, pushes past Bonner. And he won't like the look of that one, Bonner, Keysy, Ross. That's why his phone's not working.
Yeah, poor Darcy Wilson thought he was sort of looking for that handball back, and Battle sort of got past the contest. He was the one they needed to get to. Gave it to a 1v1. Keys did well there just to tap it into his own.
Throws in front. Ross Lyon had learned his lesson. He was a little more gentle with the handset that time with the phone. Philipo trying to get it out there, but Berry wins it back. He can break into space with a bounce in the wet. He'll drive it long inside 50 to a one-on-one. Fogarty, Webster got back. Helped out well. Keys again. Soccering towards goal, but it got across the face. He was on the spot yet again.
They must be watching the Euros at the moment. Sometimes that little kick off the ground in wet conditions like this, just that little bit of forward foot. I thought Rochelle was going to get onto that one there.
Rochelle is a soccer player, Jackie. I think he played in Australia under 16s.
Mark couldn't mark it. Murphy emerged with it. High ball deep to the goal square. Great strength from Howard. Fogarty went to ground.
That's the one where I'd like to see Darcy Fogarty sort of go away from thinking that he has to mark it and actually just lock up and bring that ball to ground. We know that Murphy's been there at his toes for most of the night. Rochelle's there as well. Bring them into the game. The chances of taking a contested mark in the goal square are very minimal on a night like tonight.
Bit hard when you slip though, and that's probably his intention.
I think he's sort of gone to the back though, thinking he's going to push him under the back. So it's actually that sort of one where if you're at the front, you've just got to lock up and find a way to lock up and bring that ball to ground.
Speaking of locking up, that's what Marshall and O'Brien are doing. Clark tried to fend and lost the footy. Would have been a whistle. Ball to the 50. Rochelle out of play.
Riley, Rowan.
Adelaide have won the contested footy and the ground ball gets in the second quarter. So a massive flip from the first quarter where that was minus 14. Minus 13 in the end, contested possession.
Crows have responded. They've found a way in front. 3 points, closing in on half-time. Tough footy to win. Players losing their footing, coming back in again. Get it to the boundary.
I think Tim Membry might have handballed that one to the boundary as well, but the umpire blindsided.
See the rain coming down. Just consistently falling in this second quarter. Berry, Saligo, Michaelani back for Saligo. The handball chain working well. Himmelberg tried to cushion the footy down to take the mark. Great smother by Keys. Keeps it locked in the Crows forward 50. Saints desperately trying to get it out of there. Clark lost it. Taylor trying to take it. And Curvis involved too. Marshall. Well, what a great smother it was by Keys. Just the full Superman to keep it locked in on the 50. Marshall down. Clark taken off his boot by Saligo.
Here's his chance.
Danger
Jack.
here for the Saints. Fogarty trying to bring it to ground. Did enough against 2, and it goes out of play.
That's a great example, though. Just bring it to ground, and nothing comes of this initial play, but now that gives them an opportunity to set up and score. You can see Jordan Dawson, he's gone behind the ball as a captain. He's the only player in the forward half for St Kilda, so the Crows have clearly set their captain behind the ball to slow up this game.
Crows would love to pinch another late one. Steele flicked it up. Sinclair knocked away by Soligo. Still in play. Through the legs of a couple of players. Pinched out the back by Keys. Rochelle in there. Clark trying to clear it. Owens went in. Keys with a third and a fourth effort. Himmelberg holding the ball. And advantage wasn't really there for the Saints, but it was paid, so the Crows win it back. Inside 50, they'll get the mark. That's an interesting call. St Kilda weren't sure whether they were away or not. Now the Crows get a shot back the other way.
And that was the play for Jordan Dawson being behind the ball. He was the only player there. Liam Henry picked it up, took the advantage, which might have been dubious, but had no one to kick it to. As soon as he looked up, he saw Jordan Dawson standing there and thought, I'll take it back, but the umpire called play on. Then a nice bit of footy there in terms of that little chip kick just to get this mark inside 50, an important one right on the bell here for the Crows.
So Zach Taylor's first full game. He's a sub the last 2 weeks. Searching for the first goal of his AFL career. Just before half-time, tried to give it a ride, but it's out to the right.
Well, quarter time came at a good time for Adelaide. Matthew Nix there in the box. They've made some adjustments. They've got the contested ball sorted. They've got their actual winning of the football sorted. Plus 28 in terms of possessions. Sorry, plus 18 there in possession. So they've flipped the first quarter on its head.
So at half-time, the Crows able to get to work a little more in that second term on their home deck. It was an 8-point deficit for Adelaide at quarter time. The work rate certainly lifted in the second, and they head into the major change, leading by 4 points.
Ross started the game on your terms with that first quarter. The second quarter, the Crows were able to pin it back with contested possession inside 50s. How do you get these back on your terms?
Yeah, look, we locked in our half in the front in the first quarter, and they locked it in their half in the second. Stoppage ascendancy, it's a little bit of about cough-ups, and they took a couple of half opportunities. So, yeah, we've got to sort of match them back on the spread in the front and square, and then it's a territory game, yeah, and then it's just going to be a bit of class front and square, take your opportunities.
What was the key message at the half?
Just that, don't cough it up, go forward, take some territory, get our stoppage spread going well and try and play a front half game.
Are you expecting a build from the Crows for that phone?
You know what, I think it was put together in the 60s.
Thanks, Ross.
Brilliant stuff from Ruby down there, asking the hard questions. Caught Ross a little off guard there. It's tough to do that.
A cheeky one as well. I enjoyed that.
You've got to have some sort of home ground advantage, don't you, Jack?
The 60s, can you confirm, Rue? Is that
60s?
Is that right?
Jeez, going back.
That would have been the old dial phone, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I love those.
Not one of those. It is still raining here in Adelaide. You can see we're probably going to get a bit more over the next quarter at least. But it's which side adjust to it first. Jack Rewalt, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'm looking at Jordan Dawson at the moment. He was the one in that second quarter that arrested the momentum for his football club. They put him wherever they need him. They put him behind the ball late in the game when they wanted to kill it, but he's had 15 disposals. In that second quarter, though, 9 disposals, 6 contested, 2 clearances and 3 tackles. And we spoke about players that can play dry weather footy in these type of conditions. As you can see, it's really pouring there. And he is one of those players. He will take that kick through the middle still. And without Rankin out there, you need that little bit of brilliance. So a lot on the shoulders of Jordan Dawson, as is the man that he's paired up with there, the captain of the St Kilda Football Club as well.
Set to go. Second half. Wet conditions on a Saturday night in Adelaide as O'Brien and Marshall tumble to the turf. Sock it away. Soligo, good pick up in the wet. Tough one for Cook to try to take. Saints desperate. Webster head over it. Soligo almost into his back. Up the line they go. And it just pitched on the turf, but insufficient intent.
As soon as you kick it off the ground, you lose your prior there, and that'll be the case. You think conditions might be a bit lenient.
Tough one in these conditions, as you said, Jack. Ball to grounds. Led over the top of it. It's not quite over the boundary, but we will get a stoppage.
Interesting to hear what Ross Lyon had to say there about staying lower and actually being clean with the ball. Can be tough in difficult conditions, but it is about those fundamentals. That'll be the same, I would have thought.
Yep.
There you go.
It is. So if you don't take possession, you just soccer it forward, they're going to pay it.
Yeah, unless you're under probably a lot of pressure. So that is just, must be spending a lot of time over the ball when the ball's on the ground, which takes an element of courage about it too when you've got your eyes down on the ball trying to pick it up.
This club's probably being urged to play that surge football, though, and just get it forward at any cost. As that one goes over the line.
He's not going near that one, Manny.
Just watched it just roll away from him.
Yeah.
Would have liked a big feint there and then just sort of put his foot over the top of the ball. And I'm not going to be that silly again.
It's pretty wet at the moment.
Marshall and O'Brien go at it again. O'Brien slipped to the front. Henry dispossessed in the tackle. Lenny on the boot. Walker, not a night for one hand as he tried to control it. Wanganeen-Milera couldn't clear. Schoonmaker lost it. Walker just kept in the play and he hits the post. He'd done all the hard work, repeat efforts, but couldn't finish.
Spot on, perhaps. About 3 efforts. He's clever. He did go for the one-hander, but he knows exactly what he's trying to do out there. Could have a big second half here, Tex.
Sharman almost just off the back of Dawson, who looks a little sore. Free kick downfield. Remember, he'll take it. Long and direct. You expect the sides to be going as the rain continues to fall. Michael Annie put too much on the handball back. Murray put his head over it and wins a free.
It's obviously the picking up of the ball, which you need to maintain over the top to be clean there, but the tackling as well. Like, there's the opportunity to lay a lot of tackles in games like this, so you've got to be really cautious about how you come into a contest as well.
Himmelberg brought it down. Slapped out of there by Wilkie. Sinclair tried to step, lost the footing, found it again, and then was smothered by Dawson.
A bit of an off week last week, Dawson. But taken that personally and fought back really well so far with the 16 disposals, more than anyone on the ground.
Only had a total of 16 in last week's game. So hitting back. O'Brien tried to slap it on. Michael Annie goes in, taken high. Took its time to get across to Laird.
Yeah, this is something we haven't seen from the Crows in that first half, just maintaining possession there. Usually will be a long kick down the line.
Tough thing to do with rain falling as much as it is. Burns takes a nice mark.
Play on.
Long back to half forward. Keane the double fist away. O'Brien after it. At the feet of Clark, spills out. Wanganeen-Milera in there. It's shoveled across. Fogarty. Now Murphy. Crows trying to build. Saligo. Slick back to Murphy. The right boot. He sends it wide up into the 50. And that bounces out of play. And that's going to be a ball in.
These are the moments that Ross was talking about here early. Ari Shoemaker, just that little fumble there. That's the one that you've got to take. It's only game 4 for the young Tasmanian, but they are the critical little things that will win or lose the game. Moments like that, you've just got to be clean.
Tap down. Keys, clean, away, Saligo. It was touched off the boot by Burns. But it's out of play.
Tactically, it's an interesting game as well. A lot of sides like to put an extra number up the stoppage. A half forward will come up in there. But this might be the game where you just go 6 forwards ahead of the ball to make sure that you've got the contest there and that you're not giving up an easy free number. You can see at the moment, Cal Wilkie is on in Walker and Burns is behind as the free.
Brian to the front, pushes it goalward. Just had a bit too much on it for Keys.
I really think this ruck battle will be pivotal in terms of which side can dominate stoppage. A lot of the times it's just getting the ball to some sort of advantage, and the advantage tonight is just to hit it forward.
No one patrolling the top of the square, so Wanganeen-Milera can Bring it out, go wide into the back pocket. Voda Howard. This one will go long down the boundary. Stack of players there. Michaelani. And a ball up.
Adelaide got back on top of St Kilda in that second quarter in the contested possession. Ground ball gets area after getting smashed in that first quarter. And they're going well in this third quarter as well. St Kilda need to just toughen up a little bit around the contest.
Collision coming up. Eventually taken out by Smith.
Yeah, the other one with that rule is actually positioning yourself correctly in these type of conditions. So those kicks that do go long down the line won't go the normal distance as they will in the dry. So as a key forward, putting yourself in the right place to be in the contest, but then reading it as a smaller player off the key forward's positioning.
Away to Michaelani. Towards Fogarty. Pitched back by Wanganeen-Milera. O'Brien through the fingertips and into the face. It spills for the Saints. Clark touched off the boot, so it falls in short of Sharman. Keane had him and holding the ball the call.
He's fought back well. Keane after Sharman was probably the dominant player on the ground in the first quarter.
Clearances have been 19-7 Adelaide's way since quarter time. And the inside 50s are 20-9 in that period.
Scholl driving for a bit more distance. Walker up to meet it. Great spoil away by Wilkie.
Yep.
Desperate defending.
That's what makes him an All-Australian defender. Look at that. Right at the perfect time.
Great look at it. Tremendous timing from Wilkie. Walker thought he'd gotten clear to take the mark on the chest. Jerry.
Have a couple of battles with him, Jack.
Yeah, I did. Got him early, but he's just, it was a little late draft pick as well, or later sort of came on in his 20s, Wilkie's multiple Australian. That's the reason he's there. He's really quick and really strong.
Second in the best and fairest the last couple of years at the Saints. Carl Wilkie hasn't missed since his debut. Came as a rookie in 2019. Mature age. Studying engineering before that. He's grasped his chance. One of the best defenders in the comp. And that one sent out of play by the Saints. It's a night for the diehards in the crowd. Someone's making plenty of money on ponchos just outside.
I've had to wait to sell a few because it's been a dry start to the
had the stockpile going. Long to half forward. Fogarty presents. And out of play. These two sides have split the contest over the last 4 years. 2 wins, 2 losses apiece. 3 of them being at the Adelaide Oval. 1 of them up in Cairns as well. The Saints have actually lost their last 3 here at Adelaide Oval. 1 to the Crows, 1 to Port, 1 to Collingwood.
Gather end.
Berry tries to get it out. Scholl on the boot. Fogarty in front almost. A good purchase on it. Away to Saligo. And they're peppering away the Crows. They're getting some chances.
Well, Saligo has hit the post. He's missed one completely at the start of this quarter and then kicked a point. So
He's due for a goal.
he's due. Time to get on, Jack.
Well, not 15. The caller had hit the turf. Have to go. Out to the wing. Taylor with the spoil. Jones went up. Butler committed. Laird. So throw called against Laird.
That was well picked up by the umpire there. It was the out of control umpire that saw the throw.
Just scooped it up, trying to get it out as he was being tackled. One arm pin. Well spotted. Now the Saints to half forward. Owens cleared a path. And he gave a fair old shove to Keane.
I think Mark Keane was just making sure he got seen. A character, Mark Keane.
Had a great season as well. Since round 12, he's been 5th in the AFL in intercepts, Mark Keane. Playing a vital role. Steele was after it, went through the legs of a few. Berry to Dowling, high ball. Walker trying to figure it out with Himmelberg. Himmelberg, with desperation, went back in. Webster the pick-up. Knocked down by Soligo. Jones, tackled by 3 Crows. Well, the home fans wanted a free. Kick to the wing, thucked away by O'Brien. Smith couldn't take it. Soligo's been busy. And incorrect disposal holding the ball.
Great chase by Jack Higgins there. The Crows are out if he didn't make that tackle.
Higgins sees it away to the wing. Wanganeen-Milera. Put it through to Butler now. Philipo with a bounce. Bang! Crunched. Not the night for trying to do that. Murray came storming through.
Well, you know what? He tried to absolutely nail him there. Didn't try and tackle him, Nick Murray. He went to kill him. And in modern day football, going to bump these days, if you don't nail it, you end up on the sidelines for 3, 4 or 5 weeks. So that was an interesting decision by Nick Murray.
Philipo back on his feet. Crows trying to get it out of defence. Scholl. Bouncing ball away. St Kilda have the numbers here if they can work it out. Sinclair to Webster. High ball. Owens again crashed through the pack. And then Curvis trying to claim a mark. And Smith will be held up.
Yeah, Nick Murray there tried to knock him into next week. And you just, all you have to do there is clash heads like Isaac Rankin did last week with Starcevic, and you're out for a month. But he executed it fine. He hit him in the body and play on.
Butler caught holding the ball. He was probably going in to tackle Murray, but then the ball went away from.
When someone's got the ball in their hands, you should always tackle, because if he tackles him there, he's holding the ball. But bumping, you're not going to get a free kick.
Hold on to the wing, fisted away and out of play.
This is more just a welfare check. Ruby, how are you down there?
I'm alive. I've had to get the microphone from under my second poncho.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. G'day, guys. Yeah, good to be here. So as you can see, I'm stoked.
Thanks for coming over for tonight.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Is it any coincidence that the first night there's rain, Mark Rasciuto's moved upstairs?
Yeah.
It's a bit fishy.
Insufficient intent again. Forward go the Saints. Owens up to try to meet it. Sliding in. Scholl gathers nicely. Up towards Fogarty. It's a real slog out there for these two teams. Tough footy to be won. Players committing themselves everywhere.
Makes you scratch your head a little bit on having a 6'6" guy as your sub to bring on. You're sort of thinking, well, who do you take off? So it's going to have to be one of the talls.
Unless you go taller. And that'll double down.
That'd be interesting.
He's going to double down.
Interesting.
A bold strategy. That's the false tap down. Wait on the whistle. It'll be a ball up. So Patton the sub for the Saints. Thorp on his return after a long stretch out with that knee injury. Waiting to get his opportunity for the Crows. He's touched off the boot. Matter anyway, Keane couldn't quite take it. He handballs to himself.
Might have been a throw nearly, wasn't it?
Irishman getting creative.
Alley-oop.
I think Jack Higgins kicked a goal like that once, which still stood. Handballing to yourself. And that will be insufficient intent, Mark Rasciuto.
That's crazy, because that lands right next to a couple of players. What's the difference if he actually grabs it and kicks it? How do you...
Got to feel in conditions like this, he's trying to go forward and gain territory for his team.
Is the soccer dead? Is that what we're saying now these days?
It is if it goes anywhere near the boundary. As Marshall couldn't take it. Walker with a good tackle.
Great tackle there.
And he'll win the free kick too, Taylor Walker.
That started with Rowan Marshall as well. Just wasn't in the right position there. As soon as the ball gets out the back in these wet conditions, it invites pressure. If you're a player, so you get Saints players here running with their backs towards their goal, it actually starts to think, where is the tackle coming from?
And that's why you tackle and not bump.
Doesn't attempt the shot. He sets it up to the hot spot. O'Brien, so many sets of hands. Almost impossible to mark in these conditions. There will be a stoppage inside 50 for the Crows.
Jack, you were saying before, if you do kick it off the ground, are you giving away...
I think as soon as you kick it off the ground, that's your...
Is that a rule?
Yeah, well, no, I'm making it up if it isn't one. But they're just playing it. So as soon as you kick it off the ground, that's sort of your advantage, basically.
Tap down O'Brien. Philipo. Clearing ball out for the Saints. Goal's extremely hard to come by in this third term. Through several sets of legs. Trying to throw boots at it. Philipo. Tapped down by Taylor. Clark lost it. Taylor went back in. Berry. Nankervis. Good step around Wilson. Just barrels the ball in. Walker's been involved in everything. He's wrestling with Wilkie, but it spills out the back. Jones. Sinclair. Battle. Trying to hit a target on the way out. Well done to Burns.
So they dominated time in forward half. Adelaide haven't been able to put any goals on the board.
Now Sinclair. Moving to their front half, the Saints, but not too far. Bond taking them on, and he'll be caught holding the ball.
Oh, he took the mark, played on, and then got caught holding the ball.
Got to remain calm here, Adelaide. You see they're dominating time in forward half. You don't want to get that slingshot goal from the Saints where they get that one opportunity. Keep level-headed behind the ball.
And Butler sends it out of bounds. So conditions getting a little ridiculous.
I think you could take a little bit more risk with kicks down the line here and actually kick it a little bit closer to the corridor, because you're not going to get burnt going back the other way in conditions like this. So open up a couple of avenues towards goal. So that opens you an avenue to the skinny side, but also the corridor as well. So Adelaide Oval is already a pretty skinny ground. So you can actually kick it a little bit closer to the middle of the ground, and it gives you two chances to sort of get it. So you can even three, you can get it over the back, you can get it to the one side or the other side. It just gives you a couple of avenues.
For a power play to say hello to a crow. Spills away, Taylor. Good handball on the up. Rosal gained some territory. Walker, that was a swinging arm towards Wilkie. Didn't make connection though. He's getting a bit frustrated. Tex out there in that battle with Wilkie. We'll look at the oval, how congested it is, how wet the conditions are. Just been consistent rain right throughout the match. Saints will get it forward here. Flicked on cleverly by Higgins. Just getting creative, trying to open it up for Membry. Then to Ward, who tried to find back to Higgins. But Bond out of defence.
Been good the first game up.
He has. You can tell every time he gets the footy because his family go crazy in the stands. Webster down. Jones back inside 50. Higgins. A rare opportunity for the Saints in this third term. We haven't seen much from Jack Higgins tonight. Clever little tap before, and now he's got a chance to try and hit the scoreboard.
He's got a really good extension of the arm there on the first gamer in Bond. This is where you need to be as a ruck, really onto actually being on the goal line. These are the sort of kicks that can go short in conditions like this. You want to make sure that your goal line etiquette's good.
He kicked 3 goals in the second half against the Swans last week. He's riding that one all the way, but it's hooking to the near side.
It's his first shot on goal for the night. Jack Higgins only had that's his 5th disposal, so young Bond doing a good job.
It is teaming down. You like these conditions, Drew, as a player?
I preferred it dry.
Mark taken by Clark.
It's going to be wet, though. Make it really wet.
Spoke to Rory Sloane at half-time, and he certainly is a player that would have loved these conditions.
It's funny, I used to think that most of the anxiety would go out of the game in terms of actually marking the footy. It was all about just getting down the line and trying to stand there and spoil the ball and let other people do the work. So simplifies it for a lot of players.
Wide ball and out of play.
That's an example there of what I'm talking about in terms of the kick goes so wide, and yes, it goes to stoppage here, but you could still kick it another 15 metres in the middle of the ground, and that ball there could have been go to the same position and someone could actually crumb it.
Is that up to the coaches just to change the messaging, try and release the shackles a touch?
I reckon it comes from the coach's box, but some senior players out in the ground might see that and think it's an advantage.
Jones peeled for a free kick. Spills through. Murphy, Keys, strength. Busted away through. It skids, it rolls, it slides, but it went right across the face and innocently away for a behind.
Potentially later in the game is when we'll start to see moments like that when if it is close, you start to become a little bit more eventful going forward.
Got the swimming pool down there on the bench as well. The recovery at the same time. Embry spikes it away. The Crows, there's still Thorp up on his feet.
She's
ready.
asleep. He's got the eyes open.
I think he had the eyes open, just huddling for warmth, I think.
Good night for a cuddle.
Knocked down Himmelberg. Might have injured his ankle as he fell to the turf then. Henry. Kick away. Cook. After it. Battle. Overran it. Wilson. Got the extra number here, the Saints. Wilkie tackled well. Dumped to the turf, though. Walker. Bounce important. Well trapped by Howard, and that's surely kicking in danger. The ball goes away. It's still play on. It was a big swinging boot, went flying in there, and it's called play on. Howard and Rochelli. Rochelli's limping.
Let's have a look.
Oh, gosh, right through the midriff.
That has to be a free kick.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
We don't see that rule paid very often, but that was a dangerous one. Wilson trying to clear it away. And then Clark, he has made it look like dry footy out there. To the wing. Free kick goes to Rowan Marshall. He wants to release quickly. The players trying to slide back inside 50 for the Saints, but it's only Scholl that works hard to get back. We haven't seen a goal yet in this term. Saints free. Bono blasts it to half forward. Jordan Butts knocks it down. Philipo waiting front and centre. No one in the goal square. Mateus Philipo. Oh, wow! From the boundary in the wet, if you don't mind, from the young star.
Oh, what a great kick. How's the difference? Just being able to nail the goals makes all the difference. Let's have a look at it.
The Bunnies build up here to this goal from Philipo.
We're talking about Lockie Murphy at half-time, just getting front and centre. Well, he wasn't quite centre, but he was in the right spot, and just a great kick in the wet.
Just riddled with a bit of error here from Adelaide Crows' point of view. The back of the contest was open. Philipo just hit that skinny position there. A good example, though, of just being a little bit more courageous with your ball use going forward. That one doesn't go directly at the boundary line there and opens up that skinny lane where Philipo comes through perfectly as a left footer. He's actually really thrived in these conditions after a career-high best game last week against the Swans.
We had to wait for the first goal of the term, but it was worth the wait. A blinding goal, and Philipo again trying to set them alight. This one from outside 50 again. Long ball. Couldn't hold on to the mark. Down there, Butler, still in dispute. Saints surging.
Oh, he's gone, isn't he?
Hatching it. Maybe not in these conditions.
It's just, you just cannot handball at that part of the ground there from Nankervis. Let's just get it on the foot, get it away from the goals as far as possible.
Brought down, sock it away. On Bond, what a take by Burns. Saints all of a sudden have it on a string as they send it to the hot spot. Knocked down, Dowling. Butts, high ball. Himmelberg cleared over everyone, trying to find the footy. Bonner out to Burns. Repeat entry now for the Saints. Back into the hot spot. Owens slapped away at its second attempt by the Crows. Spills out the back. Wilson, Jones, closed down. Crows win it, but there is nobody forward of the footy for them at all. St.Kilda can wait to mop it up. Battle to steal.
Got to start to pair off now. Adelaide, when you have a turnover like that, St Kilda players can be free around the ground.
Battle. Bonner, they're putting themselves under the pump with handball, and they cause the turnover. Not much forward, though, for the Crows. They wait to break. Walker's gone one way, Saligo's got it the other.
They're out now, though.
Handball to Lair. Can they connect? Now it's Himmelberg from 50. Options on in the square. Taken by Scholl. Work rate wins the day.
Well, he runs from full back to full forward, up and down that wing, Lockie Shoal. That's why he gets so many touches. He just outworks his opponents. That's what the great wingmen do. Errol Goulden, who gets 40 touches quite regularly in 2024.
Just that handball there.
Yeah, that's
Bonner that handballed to Hunter Clark, and as soon as that handball went forward, Adelaide were crying on that turnover. That kick needed to hit that one.
Well, Jake Saligo, he's had a cracking third quarter. He's had the 10 disposals, but Lockie Shoal...
That's a fair pick-up in the wet as well, mind you.
Great pick-up. He's had 10 kicks in this third quarter and a much-needed goal for Adelaide, who's been the better side in this third quarter. St Kilda got the great goal from Philipo, but they needed that one.
A half volley from Shoal, creating the goal, and now we're back again to this arm wrestle in the middle. Wood, handball, Schoenmaker got 2 to try and beat. Taylor trying to find it at his feet. Just tumbles a kick end over end up to the 50. Cook. Murphy through the legs of Wilkie. Wanganeen-Milera sees it out.
That pick-up by Lockie Shoal in the goal square was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Made the kick look good.
So easily could have spilt any other direction. Being clean in the wet can prove the difference. Taylor, they peeled away from him. High ball to the pocket. Howard sees it out.
Well, both sides still got their subs. I don't know what that means,
You're
Ross.
conducting the orchestra there, Ross.
2.5 to play till three-quarter time.
Who can find some space here?
Down to the front. Rochelle, slick hands. Taylor. Near side.
1-5 for Adelaide in this third quarter. 1 goal 5 from 9 inside 50s. St Kilda 1 goal 1. Adelaide also had that miss from Saligo that didn't score as well. So that's 7 pings at the sticks.
Tackles through the roof as well for the Crows, plus 10. That's the impressive stat for them.
Steele. Wanganeen-Milera. To half forward. Membry. To ground. Crows try to recover. Higgins. Henry. Good tackle there. Holding the ball.
Looked like they're going to let him away with that. It was a late whistle.
Head to the wing. Battle across. And sees it out of play.
Saints got Patton sitting on the bench ready to come in. Phil Thorp, the sub for the Crows.
Jack, that tackle count that you talked about for Adelaide, 28, it's now the best quarter for the year they've had in tackles.
Saints had in the first quarter. It's Henry. Knocks it down. Wilson. The handball just goes backwards of Wanganeen-Milera. He volleys it forward. Been touched by Dawson. Boundary throw-in.
Just the 2 disposals in the third quarter for Dawson. After a big second quarter.
Yeah, it's been that younger brigade that have really stepped up in this third quarter when they've been needed. Saligo, Shoal. Taylor's had 6 possessions as well.
O'Brien spilled out the back. McLean, he had a trap behind his back. Henry after it. O'Brien went back in. Pile on top.
Makes you think about how important Marcus Windhager would be for the Saints tonight. Obviously out with a hamstring injury. He's that tough inside mid. He's had a good season so far as well.
No glad he'll either the run and carry. He normally provides the Saints. There's a free kick for a hole here. Goes to Marshall. A chance for the inside 50. Sharman set himself. Flung the boots up. Ground level Owens is wrapped up.
Well, there's 58 seconds to go here. St Kilda would love a goal.
Goal each way in this term. Owens found it at his feet. And swing a high ball into the hot spot. Bodies clash. Higgins almost at the front. Just went through the arms. Umpire letting it play. Steele pushed on top of it. We'll get a ball up.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful around here. 40 seconds. You don't want to be the one that just falls into St Kilda back here and gives away a free kick. All the momentum with Adelaide at the moment.
So many players around this stoppage. Late on third quarter. O'Brien's knocked away. Sinclair was sat on his backside. Cook couldn't take it. Dawson's in there. Steele 2. Back with Cook. Blasting ball. Just trying to get some territory as the seconds tick down. Working hard. Fogarty did well. Gets the applause from the crowd and a low five from his teammate.
Hasn't had a big night, Darcy Fogarty, but it's as a key forward in moments in a game like this, that's the sort of thing that I really would love to see him do more of. Be that just brute of a contest.
So the last 20 seconds of this third quarter, Soligo has worked hard. He kept it in play. The tumbling ball is swallowed up by Wilkie. Battle of the last possession of the third quarter. Tough conditions in Adelaide on a Saturday night. Real arm wrestle. Tough to split them. We saw a sensational goal in that third quarter from Matthias Philipo. What will we see in the final term? 8-point lead as we turn for home. Favour the Crows. Tight tussle in the wet at the Adelaide Oval on a Saturday night. It's the Crows who have the advantage as we turn for home. Mark Prosciutto, goals worth their weight in gold tonight. They've been hard to come by.
No, have they ever. St Kilda last week, they were 30 points down against the Swans in the third quarter. They come rushing home and pulled off a great victory. Matthias Philipo had 12 disposals in the last quarter, 348 metres gained. Can he have another big quarter and have another big come from behind win tonight?
And tough conditions out there, braving them. Ruby is on the boundary. How is it?
I'm so brave, boys, honestly. This is one of my bravest moments. But no, talking about that man, Matthias Philipo, as we said, it's going to come down to a game of moments, and that man has followed up what he did last week. We just look at this goal here. To be able to do that in the wet, that is a massive moment for his club. He's got 29 pressure acts, the most on the field, 8 more than the next player. So he's not only having impact on the scoreboard like that, and it's his cleanliness as well around the stoppages. He's been so impressive around stoppage, just getting first hand to the ball and allowing the Saints to set him up. Just on the weather, it doesn't look like it's getting any better, boys. And if you think I'm having fun, look at these guys climbing Adelaide Oval.
No way!
What? Like, are they crazy? I'm not too sure. You wouldn't catch me doing that, but hey, they look like they're enjoying themselves.
Probably prepaid and want to get their money's worth. The two subs have been activated. Bonner off for St Kilda, Himmelberg for Adelaide. Thorp's gone into the forward line, and we'll try and find where young Ben Patton's gone.
Big last quarter for the St Kilda forwards. Dan Butler, Jack Higgins, Membry, Owens. They've only had 7, 6 and 3 and 2 touches, no goals between them so far. So they need to hit the scoreboard here. It's one of those games that you might not be having a great 3 quarters, but you could have a little moment here in a tight tussle.
Well, this is going to be a big talking point. What will Riley Thorp do in the last quarter in these conditions? Would they be better off having an in and under midfielder?
Final quarter underway at the Adelaide Oval. The Crows and the Saints been a tight battle all night. Tough conditions. Who will strike first in this final term? Wanganeen-Milera on the footy, sending it to half forward over the head of Henry. Taken by Membry. Just able to get a kick away. Not 15 for Cook, who was trying to claim the mark. Gets it away to Murray. High ball, blasting it back through the corridor. Look out, Walker. Went hard one way. Kick forward, Patton will send it up towards the 50. Higgins able to knock it down. He volleys it wide. And if this goes over the line...
what are they going to call?
You know what they'll call. Insufficient intent. Ross Lyon can only smile, shake his head.
Quite seriously, though, I reckon they've lost their way a little bit with that. That is no way.
Well, especially tonight, too. The Brodie Smith one was ridiculous early, and that set the tone.
Have to adapt to the conditions. Saints at half-back, battle.
Be careful handball on it here.
Yeah, interesting handball back through rather than putting it on the boot.
This ruck battle is so important to the result of this game in this last quarter.
battling each other all night. Jones. A tumble, a kick forward. Sharman tried to slap it on. Steele. Ball up. It was an 8-point lead to the Saints at quarter time. There's confirmation that St.Kilda substitution. Ollie Bonner. Line out. It was an 8-point lead to the Saints at quarter time. 4 points and a half to the Crows.
Oh, hang on.
Here we go. As the Saints gather. Going back in. Still Thorp did very well. Picking it up like a smaller player. He sends it in along the Crows. Knocked down by Walker. Saints clear again. Steele crunched. Cook went in hard. And the mark's been paid.
Paid by the out-of-zone umpire there as well, so...
Steele up the wing. Sharman tried to knock it on. Philipo was good. Owens. Laird. Got to extract it. Out to Keane. Quick kick. Walker crunched in. Steele up to it. On his boot. In front. Sharman couldn't take it. Laird down low. Smith. Boundary.
Marshall having a real crack at someone out there.
Yeah, it was at Steele. I think he was wanting the ball a little bit more central there for that long kick down the line.
There's the early body contact there on O'Brien. Jones. Steele. Sinclair. Thrown out of it by Berry. Keys. Cook. Good handball out by Philipo. Sinclair, Jones, inside 50. Wood. Close to the boundary line. Murray with his head over it, but he lost his footing. Wood kept his, and he can try to snap it back inside 50. It was smothered. Smith goes after it.
That's holding the ball.
Laird just swan dives on top. Walker goes in hard. Bump there on Patton. O'Brien. The rain continues to tumble. High ball. Howard. Players throwing their bodies at it everywhere. Murphy laid a good tackle. Webster just wanted to lock it in and will get a ball up.
Everyone is playing real wet weather footy. There's arms swinging, trying to smash it forward. Actually good to watch a good game of wet weather footy. I know it's not the spectacular game, but...
Dawson, high ball, test of strength. Wilkie couldn't impact. Trying to go back. Phil Thorpe's in there. Battle goes to ground. Taken high.
You said that like a real sicko there, Roo.
Well, you got to put your body on the line.
You confessed you didn't like wet weather footy, and all of a sudden it's a great spectacle. You love it.
If it's really wet, it's all right. But if it's a little bit wet, it's not much joy.
They're still worth 4 points. They're still worth 4 points.
It's a grind for sure. Laird sees it away from Philipo.
St Kilda +6 contested possession in this last quarter, so they're up for the fight.
O'Brien down. Keys. Philipo. Swing a boot at it again in a dangerous spot.
Pulled up.
Keys hacks it forward. Howard couldn't handle it. The slippery ball coming in. Fogarty's strength. He still stood up. He took 3 of them.
That was unbelievable.
Still able to get a kick away. Keys has taken the mark inside 50.
Well, what does he do? That's the option here. A left footer. Not a confident drop punt kicker, or does he go on the right and snap it or give it to Tex? Looks like he'll give it to Tex.
Great strength from Fogarty. They step around, but wasn't allowed to take the kick yet because time hadn't been blown back on. It would have been a goal. Walker's arguing his point.
He was bringing him back round on his line there as well. That's why time hadn't been called on. We've seen one left footer kick, a right footer goal tonight.
Keys this time, and it goes near side.
That was the reason he handballed it.
Feedback from the crowd.
Always positive here at Adelaide Oval.
So goal disallowed to the Crows. Bit of a history in that. The kick goes long. Murray thumps it back down. Jones on the boot. And Curvis underneath it. Butler committed. will try to hack it forward. Smith, Keane, then Curvis.
That was good by Keane there.
Way to Murray. To the wing. Was there a push?
Yeah.
There was. Marshall didn't disguise it. Home fans feel hard done by it. With the free kick count. Goes long. They cover it up to Marshall. He couldn't mark. Keys. He barrels his way through. Dowling. Keys. Was he taken high? He was.
26-16 the freeze. Not that that means there's anything wrong or right, but
I'd like to see Riley Thorp just sit in the goal square for this last quarter. You're better off just having a contest down there every single time to soak up the spare.
Sends it in. O'Brien was there. Good spoil by Mason Wood. Helping out. Burns has got problems. He's got 2 Crows on top of him. And the early whistle, we see a ball up.
They've umpired that well tonight. As soon as someone's gone to ground in these conditions, they've blown the whistle.
Phil Thorp to do the ruck work. Wrestle with Marshall. Clark on the boundary. And Curvis sees it out.
So Clark rushing in there late. Lockie Scholl standing at a forward 50 stoppage by himself.
I like the new interpretation of the holding the ball. I think it's been a good addition.
$4,500 here on a Saturday night in really cold, wet conditions. They're urging their side on. Scores so hard to come by. As it's poked into the hot spot, Phil Thorp, the big target, hands to it.
Exactly where he should be as well. Just kick it up in front of him like that, and then if you're one of the small Adelaide Crows forwards, just get to his feet.
Ryan and Marshall. Phil Thorp. Big body trying to go through. An injury in the pre-season. He was setting himself for a big campaign.
Well, they're talking about a real breakout year. Ross getting as frustrated as this.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's done it again.
Oh, no.
Who are you going to call?
Blame the technology, Ross, as the headset breaks again.
We're blaming Alexander Graham Bell soon.
Base of the pack again. Marshall gain a few metres, spills out Membry. And high contact will come back. Bucks will take the free kick.
A couple of good moments for Jordan Butts behind the ball.
Wide. Walker and Wilkie are really wrestling with each other, frustrated. Threatening to boil over. Big ball. Big contest. Fogarty crashed in. Webster went back with courage. Jones, that's a courageous step out of defence, and then shanks the kick wide and out of bounds on the full.
That was shades of John O'Brien or Nick Revolt.
That was unbelievable.
From Fogarty. We'll have a look at it. Didn't know what was coming. Webster the other way.
And got straight back up as well.
Commitment to the cause all round. Kick going in shallow, but Wanganeen-Milera has got some issues. Jones threw it away. Free kick to the Crows. Wilkie claiming it was a handball. But who's going to take the kick?
Billy Dowling. And Billy Dowling's kicked a couple of big goals early in his career. One of them very similar to this.
Might have been the old crow throw, this one here, Root.
Well, that's becoming the norm.
That's a throw.
Well, it's Billy Dowling to take it. Goals worth their weight in gold. And it's Billy the Kid who pulls the trigger.
Well, they've debuted a few youngsters this year, Adelaide, and Billy's one of them, and he's taken his chances. He can get his hand on the ball. He hasn't made too many mistakes. He's still working on his kicking, but he's being a good performer for him on that wing. Good tackle, forward half turnovers. That's what all the teams are trying to do. big goal to Adelaide. It's going to make it hard for St Kilda. That's 15 points now. Since quarter time, it's been 5 goals 10 to 2 goals 5 after St Kilda got off to a great start.
It's a really good finish in the wet. It's going to be hard to get the ball to turn in the wet like that. Show Ben Keys how to do it.
5th game, it's his 3rd goal. A crucial one for the Crows, just to give them a little bit of separation.
I thought he was rucking against an umpire there, Ollie. His back of his top, Owens' top's green.
How many weeks would you get for that, Roo?
Ball forward, Burns able to take it and go from 50. Saints want to hit back. Kick slides away.
They won't deliver it.
Ironically, jeering for insufficient intent, but we will get a boundary throw in.
Well, you'd think in a normal game of footy that the Saints were right in this, but at the moment they need to take full risk. They need to go full risk mode here. That's up the middle of the ground. Play in front, expect the ball to go forward, and just knock it forward at all costs.
Crows with most of the inside 50s in this final term. Has a try scored by Dowling, doing it at both ends.
They need to get Marshall back on the ground too quick. Big height advantage as well in the ruck for the Crows too.
Thorp in the ruck, right through Philipo, down, Taylor, it's clean, in and under. Out to Walker, and then Rookie continue to wrestle.
Can't ping him for that.
Insufficient intent, well called. It will be a boundary throw in.
Oh, there is some kindness in the world. Soccering it off the ground.
Fogarty still asked the question.
Not quite a sorrow, I think it was just a ricochet away.
Well, got him off the foot though. Don't ask, don't get, Roo. That's my philosophy with the umpires.
Bill Thorp to the front. Big body close to Owens. Ball forward for chest of Soligo and out of play.
So right now stoppage is the friend of the Adelaide Crows with a 15-point margin in tricky conditions. Just need to continue to keep it close to the boundary. Don't let the Saints out the back into the more attacking space, which is behind the rucks in the corridor here.
Marshall in front, Bill Thorpe the reach. Now led. Touched off the boot. Bounces away from Keys. Walker lost it. Michaelani after it. Ball up.
For the Saints, they need to take some risks and actually not have as many numbers come to stoppage. The more congestion, the harder it is to get out of there. So maybe take your forwards back deeper towards goal.
1 goal to 2 in the second half. Taylor, Laird, Rochelle flicks it up. Dowling got creative. Murphy lost it. Walker, high ball. He's got the one-on-one, and it's Thorp, the super sub, standing tall.
You love to see it, don't you? First game for the season, primed in the pre-season to have a big year. Starts as the sub and comes in and takes a really big mark. It's a glorious beard as well.
Yeah, he's bulked up a bit since he's done his
He looks massive.
And he bench pressed him there. Going to finish off now.
He's come back bigger and stronger. And it's another chapter in the life of Riley as he smashes through a goal on his return from a long injury layoff.
That'll make Matty Nixon, the coach's box, breathe a sigh of relief to justify him as a sub. I think that still a long way to go, but a good mark.
He's come out and done what
Bang.
no key forward's been able to do tonight, and that is take a big contested mark. He absolutely ragged the whole Dougal Howard there, who's a strong key defender. And you could sense as soon as he took the mark, the crowd knew the moment and the anticipation of what this man might have for the Crows going forward. A bit of wild man there as well.
Riley Thorpe. This is him back in 2020 when he was drafted. Look at the difference between the two of them.
He's been in a cave for 4 years.
Well, he's been doing a fair bit of that rehab with Rory Sloane, hasn't he? He's certainly been hitting the bench press and bulking up. But what could he mean to the Crows if he can stay fit?
He could be the future. He could be the gun forward for a long time to come.
Big two back in that 2020 draft. Ball spills out. Crows leading it by 21. It's a big margin given the conditions we've had this evening. Frustrating night for the Saints. That one's handballed straight to the line. Free kick to the Crows.
Well, they're consistent.
Taylor to half forward. Battle the spoil. Pat. Battle is hurt. He's landed awkwardly. The Saint. He tries to get back to his feet. That's a real watch for St Kilda as the ball's knocked down. Wanganeen-Milera with a kick out of play. Dawson, O'Brien spoil each other. Battle is hobbling from the field. So the night could be getting worse for the Saints.
Yeah, a bit proppy there. Dawson and O'Brien going for it. There's nothing wrong with that. In these conditions, both players got their eyes on the ball. They're going to go for it.
He's come down, I think he stood on O'Brien's foot there and rolled his ankle.
And Curvis.
Torrey.
Yes. Got good purchase. And there's a free kick for a hold. It'll go to Thorp. The big bear in the square making his presence felt.
Text telling the umpire that it was in the goal square. But I think, like, it's great to see this young man out playing good footy, but what it means for Darcy Fogarty, I reckon, going forward, is that he can become the second banana in terms of the defender that he's most likely to get. And then you've obviously got Taylor Walker down there too, so the size that he is, 201 centimetres, and you just look at him as an absolute colossus. He's always going to get that the best key defender and the biggest key defender. So down the chain, you start to see different players playing on different defenders just due to the fact that they've got this absolute beast playing forward.
Had to wait for his time as the sub. He's had to wait to come back from injury. And he's got two, and the beast is back.
Look, Adelaide would love him to be a Richmond Tom Lynch. Jack, if he could, play that stay-at-home big man that just makes it really hard to beat. Just stand there, compete. If you can't mark it, bring it to ground and let the forwards get front and centre.
He's just not going to get thrown off the ball. Look at the size of him, and you can see that he's just. I think the impact that he's already had about the feeling around the group, getting back in and having an impact as a sub straight away.
A huge risk by the Crows coaches to put him as sub in these conditions and have a fourth tall and really minimise who you can activate as a sub, because it really had to be either Himmelberg or O'Brien, maybe Walker if he's having a bad night, or maybe Fogarty. But it was a really brave call to have him as the sub.
It's paid off in the final term. Couple of goals to Thorp, and they've put a gap on the game now, the Crows.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've stepped in, and from that first quarter where they were comprehensively beaten around the ball from the St Kilda Football Club, it's been all Adelaide in the following three quarters.
It's been 7-10 to 2-5 since quarter time, Jack.
Berry. Get it through. Now Dowling. Cook sliding in. Good takedown low. Thorp's got separation again. He's wanting three in this term. It went in between he and Fogarty. Now it's back to Thorp again. Tumbling ball across the face of goal. Wanganeen-Milera can mark.
He had the position to kick his third. They just couldn't get it to him.
O'Brien, good take down low by the ruckman, but didn't dispose of it correctly. And now Jones on the boot. Sliding in. It was dangerous from Keane, but didn't make contact. All kept in play by the Saints. Put Solons under the pump.
And probably didn't know the rules either. Keane, he only come back from Ireland probably a year and a half ago now.
Doesn't rain in Ireland, does it?
Well, sliding in, as you know, that rule change, you can't do it.
Oh, gee. They have not paid that tonight at all, that kicking in danger.
Yeah, Steele threw his boot out at that time.
Berry looks a bit proppy.
I think now Jordan Dawson will go behind the ball soon, as he's been playing that defensive coverage when they've needed it.
Soligo sees it out. The Saints will be bitterly disappointed that this game's gotten away after such a good win last week. Upsetting the Swans. They would have felt pretty good heading across here.
They looked good in the first quarter. They looked all over Adelaide. That's plus 13 contested ball in 1 quarter is a lot in these conditions. Set them up for a victory away from home.
Touch shallow of the 2 rucks. Slapped on by Clark.
Smart there by Dowling as well. Just no need to keep the ball in play. Adelaide be happy with this, just to continue to go stoppage to stoppage.
O'Brien, a good hit out down. Face to face, Patton and Soligo.
He's been good, Soligo.
Worked hard all evening. Ball's driven inside 50. Thorp is again the target. Fogarty goes back in. Made good body contact. Knocked the ball loose. Soligo dispossessed. Then goes to ground. Dawson followed up. Steele. Battle. Good to see him back out there. Bouncing ball. Henry. And Curvis. Henry. Wanganeen-Milera just spinning on the spot. Able to get clear, and then crafts an excellent kick. It's just knocked away. Sharman, who lit things up in the first quarter. Higgins. Is that Bond for company?
He's been good, Bond too.
He's done very well, Bond. Higgins has only had the 1 shot on goal, 7 disposals.
I think all of the Saints forwards, other than Sharman, have been quiet tonight. Mason Woods kicked a couple of goals as well, but Membry, Butler, Higgins all had below par games.
Down Sinclair. Back to the hot spot. Sharman almost landed on his chest. Webster trying to crash through. Owens.
Interesting to see Jimmy Webster down there. It might have been out of necessity that he's looks like he's going to full forward, but you can see Dawson freeing himself up at the top of the goal square there.
Hasn't kicked a goal in a few seasons, Jimmy Webster. Under defence. Keys got to the front. Curvis up the line. Philipo. Impressive. He's going to pull the trigger. He's going to the ruckman in the middle. The 2 big fellas going and sharing the footy around in the wet. O'Brien, a great tackle.
Some real positive signs here for Adelaide. Finishing this game really strongly too.
He's just had a lift with Thorp back out there. Playing with spirit. That's punching that one away, and Owens the tackle. 5 minutes to go.
Butts. I think 1 in 3 inside 50s last week for St Kilda was a goal. Tonight it's 1 in 7.
Still fighting hard for it. Circles it inside 50 at the feet of Owens. Higgins, Bond, wrestle, Owens, soccer skills everywhere. Webster after it, and then Butler and the goalkeeper
couldn't chip the keeper.
Caught it, Jack. Dawson behind the ball.
Now this would be interesting whether this is a coach call or this is a captain call. I think this one would be a captain call to read the play in the game and go, I'm going to sit myself free behind the ball.
Led with the high kick. Fogarty waits underneath. Laird.
He's had a good night, Laird, as well. Leading possession, get it on the ground.
Till that
great
point.
kick there.
Where he turns it over.
Well done, Jack.
To Burns. Ball long. Keys. And ball in between 3 crows. Burns after it.
Keys has been good as well, backing up last week's good performance. He's had 21 disposals, kicked 1 goal, 3. Leading all players on the ground, on the whole ground, both sides for ground ball gets, which are key stats in a night like this with 13.
O'Brien acted forward. Shelley knocked it back. Huge Falcon. Shoemaker copping it after that volley from O'Brien. Smith. Clean pick-up, but you won't get out of a Jack Steele tackle. Marshall trying to kick it out of the air. Hutton on the boot, out the back. Webster almost. Higgins, boundary.
Those kicks into your head in short range on wet nights like this can concuss footballers.
Not what you want, especially with 3 minutes remaining in the game.
A teammate of mine, David Pittman, I went for a big Thorp at Waverley one day. He was not too far in front of me. Just whack straight into his scone.
Down by Marshall. Dowling kicked a big goal in this term. Scrambling kick, foot race on. Saligo, they all went past it. Thorp. He went to crash into Wanganeen-Milera. He got back to his feet. He's energised. Dowling. Thorp again. Big don't argue. Throwing his weight around. Riley Thorp.
That beard's not going anywhere.
Losing his strength. Rochelle. Steele. Patton. Wood. Missed the handball. Dowling was held. Laird in there. Cook. Keys. Crows build. Fogarty's there. Good recovery. Battle. Wilkie. Shoemaker. On the boot. Towards Owens. A couple of minutes remaining. Crows. The forward line's looking impressive. You've got Fogarty, you've got Walker, now Thorp, not just with their facial hair, but with their prowess inside 50.
Himmelberg.
Still can't believe you doubted Matthew Nix for starting in the sub route. It's an interesting call.
Well, what about the loaded question you put, didn't you? Yeah, both barrels loaded.
Wanganeen-Milera.
That's why they pay the big bucks.
Mason Wood. Long ball. Higgins with courage backing back. Calls the contest. Owens. And the behinds. And still just the one goal in the second half for the Saints.
Well, they'd be disappointed, St Kilda, especially after the way they started.
Crows with 4-6.
Only 38 inside 50s today for St Kilda. You have to go very good score efficiency if you're going to win with that amount of inside 50s, and that's what they were able to do last week against Sydney.
Well, Swannies didn't take it too nicely, that loss. They bounced back today with a big one.
Fogarty attacks it again. Always presents up well. Saligo. Put in the suplex. Marshall went for the pin. Philipo got creative. O'Brien knocked it on. Slipped out from Saligo. Keys on the follow. Open forward line, the Crows. They hook it back. Cook trying to get back there. Schoenmaker lost it. Rochelle can help himself from close range and just add a little bit extra to the night for the Crows.
He's worked hard, that 13 disposals. Hasn't had a big night by any stretch, but on his bid. Benny Keys, he has had a big night. He's up to 24 disposals. Tried to get the kick over the top, didn't quite get there. Saints couldn't mark it. Pretty simple shot from Rochelle. Well, it's a big win in the end, isn't it?
32 points in the wet. It's a big final quarter from the Crows. Margin just 8 points at three-quarter time. All dropped out. Piling on top again. And it's going to be holding the ball. The Saints free. Driving on top of the footy.
It's the 2 goals since quarter time, the Saints.
Philipo sliding in, lost it. He's on his knees. Marshall.
Just having adjusted in game to the conditions. Started so well.
through again, Wilson.
I know Adelaide have had a big night in the clearance area. It's +9. They've been getting badly beaten in that area and scoring from it tonight. They're +29. I reckon they're one of the worst sides in the comp at scoring from stoppages, so that's a big turnaround.
So that does it. Not one that'll go down in the classics. A wet old night at the Adelaide Oval. Marshall have the final say. Gets good purchase, thups it long, but it'll fall in short. After a great win last week, the Saints fall back to earth, and the Crows surge to a win, spurred on by the return of one of their stars. Handshakes all round. Riley Philthorp is back as the Crows by 32. Tired players out there. Some questions for Ross Lyon, a couple of broken phones as well to boot. Mark Prosciutto, Jack Rewald. How do you sum that one up? Really, it was a hard-fought slog for the Crows.
I think it just adds to the what-ifs for the Crows. Lost 5 of their first 6. And you sort of think, oh, ever since that round last year where they potentially should have been in the finals, they didn't start this year well, but they've played good enough footy. I think the positive for them is they've won tonight, but they're starting to blood some youngsters. So the future of the footy club is coming through. Good to see Philthorp back today. I thought Darcy Fogarty, whilst he didn't have a lot of possessions, was excellent in the air after a couple of early slip-ups, but a lot of positive signs for Adelaide and some questions to be asked of the St Kilda Football Club and their performance tonight.
Let's get down to Ruby, who's chatting to Jordan Dawson.
Jordan, was it as tough as it looked out here?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, we knew it might have been a bit dewy, especially coming out in the warm-up, but I think that third quarter it started to rain pretty heavily, and yeah, it was a bit of a tough slog, but they started well the first quarter. We didn't come out as hard as we needed to. We got done in the contest, but I think after quarter time we got going, and yeah, it was a great win.
What changed after quarter time? What got the team going?
Structurally, we changed a few things. We adapted better to the conditions, I reckon, and then I don't know. I think we just got back to their body a bit harder, and the mids we got going a bit more, and yeah, it was good. It was good from quarter time, but yeah, it was a tough game. It was hard work.
You must be proud of the team after a tough week. Obviously, Isaac Rankin going out with suspension and the loss to the Lions last weekend, to be able to respond and put that performance in really tough conditions as well. Yeah,
I mean, Isaac's such a special player, and it's the nature of the game now. We put our arms around him. We love him. It's hard to replicate Isaac in the team, but I think those guys that sort of stepped up tonight, I mean, Zach Taylor and Hugh Bond was massive on one of their dangerous forwards in Higgins. So, I mean, guys are ready. They're playing well in Sample, and they're stepping up and playing a role, which is exciting for us. We've had a few injuries. It's good to have Big Philthorpe back as well. He's a big man, and it was a good team performance, really.
Talk to me a little bit about Hugh Bond, because it's tough in these conditions to really see the quality of a player. What can we expect from him, obviously, the debut tonight?
I think he's a bit of a Luke Brown replica. I was only here for a year with Brownie, but he just is a no-fuss half-back, back pocket. Just from day one, he's worked hard, and he just gets the job done. He's a bit of a nightmare matchup. He's fit, he's quick, he's strong. He hates getting beaten, so I think we saw that tonight, and he loves these sort of conditions. So I'm excited about what he's got to offer us in the back half of the year.
Jordan, congratulations on the win. Go join him.
Thank you.
Jordan Dawson there, who had a big say tonight, and the young debutant, certainly all smiles after a good performance.
Yeah, those wins are good when you have to grind them out and tough it out and just be tougher than the opposition, and they were that from quarter time. They got beaten up in the first quarter, Adelaide, but a good bounce back, as Jordan said.
I think Matthew Nicks realised how important this victory was as well, and may not propel them up the ladder too far and put them in finals contention, but these are the sort of wins that you can draw experience on as well as a football club, to go, well, we have got the toolkit to play in wet weather footy. It's interesting to hear Jordan Dawson say he thought it was just going to be a little bit dewy. It was teeming down halfway through that third quarter there, and Ruby certainly felt it as well.
Understatement of the season, I think. Let's get to Ruby, who's got the super sub, Riley Thilthorpe.
Yes, the bloke with probably the biggest smile on the ground at the moment. How good does that feel to return to the game?
Oh, so good. So much fun to be back out there with the boys. Something I've been looking forward to for a long time. So, yeah, pretty pumped.
What was the communication from Matthew Nix for you to start you as that sub to come on? Obviously, you just played the fourth quarter rather than giving you a full crack.
Yeah, obviously been out for a while, so they want to give me a bit of a taste of it before I get, back into full games, because the jump from Stanford to AFL is a pretty big jump. So I think they want to introduce me to it, and then hopefully next week I can play a full game.
Well, I don't think that'll be a problem at all. Talk to us about the journey coming back. Rehab's never easy. Who's supported you along the way, and how have you found it?
Yeah, it's tough. I was really lucky to have great people around me. Josh Emanuel, Tim Slim, Nick Murray and Harry Schoenberg, who were going through it as well. Yeah, they made it so easy. They made it a lot of fun. So, but yeah, not as good as this, obviously.
Now the boys upstairs, Jack Revolt and Rui and Paps, they're not actually sure I'm talking to Riley Thilthorpe right now, because we compared photos from 2020 to you, and also you pre-rehab, and you've come out a different unit. Is that just rehab and that's what it does?
Yeah, I was in the brace for 6 to 7 weeks, so I couldn't do anything but uppers. So I spent a lot of time in the gym, about 5 days a week. So it's nice that it's paid off and I can sort of use it out in the field a bit.
Riley, well done. Go join the team.
Thanks very much.
Riley Thilthorpe, he's certainly
get on the uppers.
doing the beach weights. He's out there, he's bulked up, but it worked for him. I mean, he really gave the team a lift when he came into the game in that last quarter.
Oh, look, I think everyone likes to see the long-term injured players come back and play well. So to do that's going to give him a huge amount of confidence heading into next week. And that's a big game Friday night against
run home.
Marvel. That's going to be a great opportunity for them.
The following week there, they've got a couple of the Hawks are still in the finals contention as well, so they could impact a couple of sides' finals chances coming home if they play footy like they did tonight.
That's a tough run home.
And it is for the Crows, but they put it all out there tonight. We'll get the song next. Riley Thilthorpe's going to do a little bit more running on a wet night.
What's he doing?
In Adelaide.
Oh, he's
just going to celebrate. Give a bit of a enjoy the crowd here. He's soaking it up. He's back out there, and the Crows won it by 32.